I'm an ex-CO that was in prison. These interviews are gonna let them know who I really was. They don't know to this day. Mom was on drugs. My father got killed when I was 10.
How did that happen?
Got in a fight with some guy over a girl and they ended up killing him. That's the story we got.
Okay.
You know, I was 10 years old. I don't know for sure, but that's the story we got. So with that, like even before that, I was kind of a wild kid. You know, like in grammar school, I was in 6th grade, and that's the first time I actually pulled a gun out on somebody in 6th grade. Oh. And it was.
How do you get a gun? How do you get a gun in 6th grade?
So I lived across the street from my school. It was school 77 in Buffalo, New York, and my aunt lived across the street. I was at my aunt's house. She had a .38 long nose, and I had this kid in my school. He was a bigger guy. He was in the same grade. It was like 6th grade. We was in the same grade, and he you know, he was a bigger dude, and he was always trying to fuck with me. So I was like, damn, man. One day I was sitting across the street because I got out of school. Everybody was getting out of school. I'm sitting on the porch, and I'm like, you know what? I'm about to show him that you ain't gonna fuck with me no more. And I literally ran in my aunt's house, ran upstairs, grabbed the gun, came outside, ran in the middle of the street. He was coming out, getting on the bus, on the school bus, and I just upped it, aimed it at the bus, and the bus driver just threw her hands up. And then I called her my sister. She was like my street sister. She was with my brother. So she comes running down, and she's screaming like, "Rob, give me the gun, give me the gun." So I turn around, I throw her the gun, and I just take off running. Ran to like it was a boys and girls club called Butler Mitchell in Buffalo, and I ran there and just sat in there until the police came. They ended up coming and finding me and charging me with possession of a weapon, but they never found the gun.
Right.
So you know they just put me on probation. No gun, sent me to counseling, and going through counseling, and the way I was a hothead as a kid. And I can't blame it on nobody. I can't say, oh, my mother was on drugs, so that made me like that. It was just me, because my brother wasn't like that. We all lived in the same household, you know? It was just how I was. So they labeled me, well, the counselor said I was homicidal and that I needed to, like, seek more counseling and all this stuff. You know, the eval of it,
yeah.
When you go to your little evaluation and they tell you that. So in 6th grade, they labeled me as homicidal. They sent me to this other school. It was like not an alternative. It was kind of like a better school, to be honest with you. It was a magnet school, a Native American magnet school in Buffalo. And it was cool there. You know, I was just chilling. But prior to that, before they did all of that, at 10 years old, you know, I started selling work because my mom was on drugs. It was me, my brother, my little sister. We didn't have nothing. Like, you open the fridge, it's a thing of baking soda and a thing of water. That's it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So there was a little spot across the street from us called Helping Hands where they would like feed the homeless. So we would have to go over there and eat. So I'm sitting there one day on the block with my cousin, and I see my cousin like running back and forth. And then he comes up to me one night and he pulls out some money. And I'm like, damn, where you get that from? He was like, oh, yo, you know, my uncle, he was like, you know, Uncle Tommy told me, yo, work for me and I got you. So I'm like, damn. I was like, can I get on with it? He was like, yeah, I'll put you on. I'll talk to him, we'll put you on. So how we did it was, he was like, okay, during the day, now mind you, I'm 10 years old. He was like, during the day, my cousin's gonna work. And at night, I'm gonna work. So I would go in my uncle's house. I'll sit in the like dining room with him, and he had like a window that he had cracked like this that basically went through the alleyway to the back of the house. And where the window was at, they would come up to the window, and he was like, if they put a 20 in, you give them one of these. If they put 10 in, you give them one of these. So I was just doing that.
New Jack City.
Yeah, it was funny. It was crazy. And I was doing that, and he would pay me like $250 a week. At 10 years old, $250 a week was good to me. This is back in the 90s.
Good deal for him, too.
Yeah, because he ain't had to pay me what I was worth.
Right.
And I finally realized that a little later on. Because as I'm making this money for him, you know, I'm a kid. So I'm buying like sneakers, little clothes, remote control cars, stuff like that. So then, like I said, I started realizing like, I got to be making him a lot more money than what he's really giving me. And at the time, my mother was on drugs. So I go across the street to my mom's house. We literally lived across the street from each other. So I go to my mother and I'm like, you know, she was on drugs. And I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, yo, this is how much he's giving me, but I feel like I'm worth more than that. So she was like, you know what you do? You take that $250, go buy an 8-ball. come back home. We'll break it down together. And then I'll help you get rid of it.
This is what I'm talking about. Just good parenting, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
good. I mean, what the hell?
She was on drugs though, so that was just what it was. You know what I'm saying? As sad as it is to say, she's clean now, thank God, and she's doing great. But at that point in time, that's what it was. You know, you're either I'm gonna do it anyway. So she was just like, I'll help you get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? So how we did it was, she was like, for every 5 people I bring to you, just throw me something. And that's what I started doing with my mom.
This is a horrible story. This is horrible.
But it's true.
Okay, I believe you.
It's exactly what happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I did that for a little bit. And then I had what I call my street mom. She would come by and see me out there, and she'd be like, you know, get in the car, let me take you over here. Because I'm 10, 11 years old. She's like, get in the car, get in the car. She'll take me to the store, buy me little snacks and stuff like that. And eventually she was like, you know, she came and she took me from my mom. She talked to my mom. She was like, I'm going to take him with me, because she didn't like the route I was going, you know? So she ended up taking me. I moved in with her, and, you know, she kept me out of the street, but she was into the same business. She wasn't on drugs and nothing, but she was into the business. So what I would do, she found this out later. She's mad as hell.
Your mom, what are you doing? This is wrong. Listen, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah, but she didn't put me on to the game. I just knew she was into the business.
Okay.
So what I was doing, because she was good. Like, she you know, she took care of me, but me being me, I always wanted more. You know, because now I'm like, I'm not making money now. I can't go spend money how I want. I got to ask her for money. So what I would do is go into her stash, and I'll chip a little piece off the block, go bag it up in my room, and then I'll sit in front of the house. And when people would come up looking for her, I'll be like, oh, she's not here, but I got what you want. And then I would just start hustling like that.
And how old are you at this point?
At this point, I think I'm about 12 or 13. And I was just doing that just for extra money. Like, I wasn't chipping off a whole bunch. Like, you know, chipping off, making like $300-$400, and then I'm good for the week. Because that was my spending money. Like, you know, I did what I wanted with it. Eventually, you know, that stopped. And I got with my son's mother when I was 14. Got her pregnant when we was 15.
Wow.
And I was selling weed then. I was just selling weed. So when she got pregnant, I ended up moving to Jersey. Started working little odd jobs because I didn't know nobody in Jersey, so I couldn't sell weed no more. You know what I mean? So I was just working odd jobs. It wasn't working. We ended up moving back to Buffalo. When we moved back to Buffalo, I started selling weed again. So we're in the house. We're selling weed. I met this guy. He was a big-time dude. You know, he passed away, but he was a big-time dude in the game. And he started dating my sister. So we were just chilling. We didn't have no real business thing going on, but he would bring me like a pound of weed and be like, here, that's for you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, bet, thank you, you know. I already had a pound that I was selling. I would break it down into nickel bags, the whole pound. Just break the whole pound down to nickels. So I'm making a couple thousand off of that. And then he would just throw me an extra one. You know, so we sitting there one day, and because the feds was watching him, they kept seeing him come back and forth to my house. And when they were seeing that, I guess they thought I was a part of what he had going on.
And how old were you?
I was 17 at this time.
Okay.
17. So they end up kicking in my door. They end up raiding. They raided all of his spots simultaneously. But they kick in my door, and this is what kind of made me change a little bit. It kind of made me start going the right way. Because when they kicked in my door, my son was probably a year and some change, maybe. He wasn't even walking yet. He was just standing up on the edge of the crib.
Right.
And when they kicked in my door, one of the FBI dudes put a shotgun in my son's face. Like, he's literally standing in the crib, and he has a shotgun, swinging it around and aimed it right at my son's face. And I'm like, you know, I'm handcuffed in the dining room, but I'm looking into the room, and I'm like, yo, get that shit out of his face. And he was, you know, oh, shut the fuck up, da-da-da-da, whatever. I was like, yo, that right there, like, it made me be like, you know what? This shit ain't for me. This shit ain't for me. So me and my baby mom, I was like, yo, let's move back to Jersey. I don't know nobody there. You don't know nobody. We'll go to Jersey. Went there, started working odd jobs again. Wasn't getting the money that I was used to getting. So I'm walking past, I'm literally downtown Patterson New Jersey, and I'm walking past a recruiting station. And I'm looking, and it's like, oh, $25,000 signing bonus, this and that. So I'm like, damn, this was in 99. And I'm looking, I was like, man, I should try it out. So I walked in. I started talking to the Army recruiter. He was telling me all this good stuff about the military, all this extra good stuff. You know, they got to sell themselves to you. So he sold me. He was like, you know, you could join the military, you'd be a tanker. He was a tanker. He was like, man, these are the perks, this is that. I was like, all right, let's run it. So we ended up going to Brooklyn, filling out all the paperwork. I did the ASVAB, took the ASVAB pass. They got the job as a tanker, which is 19 kilo in the military. Got that, shipped me off to basic training. So I'm in the military. I'm doing great. I got awards that, got ranked up, went up to like an E6, got awards for everything I did in the military. And then one day we came back from Iraq, and I went on leave. I went on it was a 30-day leave from coming back. And when I came back and went on leave, there was a new sergeant that came in, and he was like, he wanted to meet me because he was my first line supervisor. So he's like, going to my house. There was a female that was staying with me. I was up in New York. There was a female that was staying with me, and he kept going to the house like, where's Rodriguez at? Where's Rodriguez at? And she was like, he's not here. Like, what do you want me to say? She kept calling me like, yo, this guy keeps coming by. I didn't know who he was. I didn't have his number because I wasn't there when he got sent to the unit. So I'm like, all right, when I get back, don't worry, I'll take care of it. She was like, all right. So I come back, go to formation, and in the military, you're in formation, you got your company, you're in groups of platoons, 1 through 3 or 4. You got the lieutenants up front, the captain up front, the first sergeant up front. So I'm standing in formation, and he looks at me, he's like, Sergeant, after formation, we need to step to the back and have a conversation. And I was like, oh, we definitely do. Because I was already hot. You keep coming to my house. Like, that's not how you're supposed to do it. You know what I'm saying? I lived off post, too. I didn't live on post.
Well, what do you think he's coming to your house for?
All he kept saying was he wanted to meet me.
Okay.
So I'm like, why you got to keep coming to my house to meet me? You know I'm on leave. So when we go to the back of the formation, we start talking, and I got a little upset. And, I started cussing, like, don't ever come to my fucking house again, whatever. And then we started arguing, and we ended up started fighting in front of everybody. So with that, I got sent to my captain's office. When I walk into my captain's office, kind of like a desk like this. And, I come in there with my first line supervisor, the first sergeant, everybody, and I'm standing there. And the captain, he was a Ranger. So he looks at me, and he's like, oh, what happened? I was trying to explain it to him. He didn't want to hear it. He was like, you know what? I don't believe you. I think you're full of shit. I heard you were nothing but trouble, blah, 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 saying a whole bunch of shit. And then he, stood up, slammed his hands on the desk, and he was like, if it was up to me, I'd snatch your ass from behind this desk. So I, leaned back and was like, oh, really? And I stepped back, and I was like, sir, with all due respect, if you reach over that desk, I'm going to snatch you from behind your desk. So he just started yelling, get out of my office, blah, blah, blah. They sent me to the colonel. Right across the street. So I go to the colonel's office. Everybody's there. We walk in the colonel's office, He looks at me. The captain tells him what happened, blah, 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 what I said to him. So the colonel basically said the same shit. He was like, you're going to end up either dead or in jail with your attitude, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking at him like, all right, sir. I was like, you know what? Honestly, your opinion don't matter shit to me. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. And the colonel looked at me, literally, he was like, I'll have you out the military in 3 days. And his ass had me out, I had an escort, take me around everywhere I had to go, clearing everything. He had me out the military in 3 days.
You know how every year there's that one person that's impossible to shop for? You're walking around the store or scrolling online thinking, this person doesn't need anything. But this year, I found the perfect gift. Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. You can send friends and family USDA certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, comfort meals, and even desserts. My wife and I got our first Omaha Steaks box this year, and we had filet mignon that was amazing. It's the easiest way to send something that actually feels special. Order by 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and they'll ship the same day. Save big on holiday gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code INSIDE at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com. Promotion code INSIDE.
So when I got out the military, I start,
Is that is it that a dishonorable discharge or
it was
honorable?
general. It was general
Okay.
under honorable conditions. It was general under honorable conditions.
They just didn't want you. Just weren't one of the good men that or one of
That they
looking
were-
for
yeah.
a few good men, and they decided you weren't one of their good men.
Because I still had a little bit of like street
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
I'm young. I joined when I was 19. I'm in my early 20s, so I still had that dumb mentality, really, because it was dumb as hell.
You show me respect.
Yeah,
That
that
kind
type of shit, that type of dumbass attitude.
Yeah.
And so after that, again, I started working odd jobs. My daughter was born at this time, so my son lives in Jersey with his mom. My daughter was born with my other baby mom. We in Georgia, working odd jobs for Comcast and just dumb shit. And I'm like, damn, man, this ain't working. So I go to a VA career center. And I'm talking to one of the guys that's a VA career center person. And I'm like, I'm looking for a job, but I need something that's good, like that's going to pay bills, not these little odd jobs that I'm struggling out here. So he was like, yo, the only thing I got right now is a prison. He was like, man, the prisons are hiring like crazy. He was like, and you're ex-military, they'll hire you like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you think so? He was like, oh, I know so. He said, man, go in there, go for the interview. I'll set it up, and I promise you they'll hire you on the spot. So I do that. I go into the interview, speaking to a lieutenant, and then he's looking like, my little bootleg resume that I made up, and he's looking at it. He was like, oh, you're ex-military. I was like, yes, sir. He was like, were you combat? I was like, yeah, combat arms, 464 armor. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, man, you're hired. That was it. There was no conversation. He was like, you're hired. I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, I'm going to set it up for you to go to BCOT, which is Basic Correctional Officer Training. In Georgia, it's only 30 days. You go to Basic Correctional Officer Training for 30 days. You don't need nothing but a high school diploma. That's it. So he set it up. I went with a class to BCOT, did that for the 30 days, came back, and then I started working in the prison. I was working at Rogers State Prison. That was the first prison I started working at.
How many inmates?
A total of, I think, 12 to 1,400 inmates on the whole compound.
How many staff?
Not enough. They probably had like one officer in each building.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Then you got your utility officers and your lieutenants.
Yeah,
captains.
rack and
yeah. You got your
so
rack.
so we're talking about like 50 guys, 60 guys.
Probably.
Okay.
And then you got your outside detail guys. So yeah, it was crazy.
What did they start at?
At that time when I started there, it was at like I think $30,000 a year.
What year?
In 2003.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
In Georgia it wasn't.
Yeah.
Especially in Georgia. Because then for a while I was still renting an apartment in Hinesville, Georgia. And then one of the lieutenants come up to me, they're like, you ever thought about living around here? Like it was in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, I never thought about it. He said, man, you won't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
Everything's free. You just got to live on, next to the prison. So
You
I'm
work
like,
overtime. And
and you're right there. Like I could literally walk to the job. So I was like, shit, all right, I'll do it. Ended up moving on the compound, like right next to the prison. I could literally look out my back window and see the whole prison. So I did that. I'm working. At first, when I first got the job.
One more question. You said prison. Like what is this, like a pen, medium, low? What's
the first one, Rogers, is a minimum medium.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a minimum medium prison. They got outside detail guys coming in and out the back gate, mostly every day of the week. So when I first started working there, I tried to treat it like it was a street, like I was on the street.
Right.
Like I'm trying to, I'm giving the guys, like I'm talking to them like we guys on the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I started treating them. A couple of times, at first it was, let me test the new guy. You know what I'm saying? And me being who I am and where I'm from, I'm like, yo, I don't care about all of that. Like, you want to fight, we could fight. That's how I used to approach people. Like, if that's the timing that you're on, I'm on that same type of timing.
Right.
But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be like the cool guy. I'm not going front. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to be like the good CEO. Everybody like, yo, what's up type. And for a while, that was good. That's what it turned into. So for some, like, I don't know why, but in Georgia, I would like attract myself more to like the black guys. Because they were, I think I felt like they were more like on my level of thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like they were street kids, so I was a street kid.
Well,
so
most of the white guys are kind of country, right? Like they're more...
Majority of them were, and there was like a select few that was like from the city, you know, like from Atlanta or Savannah or something. So one day I'm standing there, I think I was standing at the gate waiting for like to run chow. And this white kid comes up to me and he's like, yo, can I ask you a question? You know, he didn't say yo, but that's how I talk. He was like, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, what's up? He was like, why you always hanging with the black dudes? And I looked at him, I was like, what you mean? He was like, you always with the black dudes, you don't hang with your own people. And I'm like, I was like, there was probably like 3 Mexicans in the whole building.
Right.
So I'm like, I just hang with whoever, like I talk to whoever talks to me. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, nah. He was like, you know what? He was like, you ain't nothing but a whoop whoop lover.
Right. Okay.
And I was like, what? So this is how I did things. Okay? I would approach it like a street situation. You disrespected me. So now I'm going to disrespect you. And even though at the time, I'm not going to front, at the time, I didn't really think that my authority over them was what made them not want to fight with me. You know what I'm saying? Because if I hit you, I'm going to catch a charge or something like that. I wasn't thinking like that. I really wasn't. I'm like, we're going to go, we're going to fight, and then whoever wins, wins. We're going to walk away. That's really how I thought about it. So when I took them, what I would do is, you get to talking crazy, first thing I tell them, hit the fence. So, you know, you got to put your hands on the fence. I do the fake pat down to make it look legit. Mm-hmm. Put the handcuffs on you. Then I'll take you to the hole. I'll take you to lockdown. When I get you in the lockdown, this is how I was with people. I would get them in lockdown. The first guy ever playing, it was probably, my whole time doing that, it was probably like 4 or 5 people that ever actually happened with. I wasn't just going around doing it for fun.
All right.
But anyways, the first guy, he said that, so I was like, okay. Took him to the hole. I was like, yo, listen, when I take these handcuffs off of you, turn around and start swinging. And he'll just sit, you know, they're just standing there like, what? I'm like, turn around and start swinging, because I'm going to swing at you. It's going to be me and you. You ain't with your friends. I don't got a bunch of COs with me. It's just me and you. Whatever happens here, this is where it happens. This is where we leave it.
And there's no cameras?
No, not once you go into the shower area, there's no cameras in the shower.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then in Georgia at that time, there was probably 1 camera in the whole dorm that would just see like how it was at Rogers. When you walk into the dorm, it's a room right here in the middle. Like they called it the day room. Mm-hmm. And then it was split hallways. There was no cameras facing down them hallways. And down them hallways would be 2 bedrooms. Like a room on this side, a room on that side with like 16 people in each room, you know, down the hallways. So once you get into the shower area, there's no cameras facing the showers. You know, unless it's a search situation and you gotta have a camera. Right. So I would just be like, turn around and start swinging. 9 times out of 10, when I took the cuffs off and they spun around, they wouldn't swing. But I still, at the time, I'm in my early 20s, I feel disrespected. Right. So I'm gonna disrespect you now. And then hopefully we could get an understanding out of that. Again, not thinking like, damn, I'm really abusing people because they scared to hit me anyway because they're gonna, you know, they might catch a charge. Right. I didn't look at it like that. I wouldn't have told on them. That wasn't my thing. So, anyways, I did that 1 or 2 times. Another guy, you know, screaming shit out in the crowd when I'm running child, and he had the balls to say it was him. So after a while of me doing that, I kind of felt like, because then the lawsuit came out against the whole prison. The warden was on there, a bunch of captains, sergeants, lieutenants, bunch of officers were on the CERT team was on the whole lawsuit. In this one big lawsuit were many like side lawsuits. You know what I'm saying? And with me doing that, the last guy that I got into it with, he was like saying some racist shit to me when I was running child. So I pulled him out, hit him with the same talk. Yo, hit the fence, fake pat down, put the cuffs on him. Taking him to the hole, and as I'm walking to the hole, my lieutenant's coming by me. He said, "What's up, Rodriguez?" I was like, "I'm gonna just go down here and talk to him." And they knew, because everything we did was covered up. Right. So they knew what I meant by saying I'm gonna go talk to him. So I took him to the hole, same situation. Like, yo, when I take these cuffs off, spin around and start swinging. When I took the cuffs off, he didn't swing. He spun around and dropped to the floor. But I'm already mad now. I'm already in that zone. So when he dropped, I just started kneeing him like in the shoulder area, kneeing him in the shoulder and shit, like punching him in the back of the head. And I just, after, you know, a few little scuffle up, it wasn't nothing crazy. I got up, I let him walk back to his dorm. And he filed the lawsuit.
Right.
He added me to that lawsuit.
Right. He added that situation.
Yeah, to that lawsuit that everybody else already filed against the whole prison. So then when he did that, the other 3 or 4 guys that I got into it with did the same thing. So now my one lawsuit in that big lawsuit turned to like 4 or 5. You know? Nothing came of it.
Right.
Nobody got fired. None of them got money for it because it was all swept under the rug.
Did you ever get questioned?
Yeah. So what happens is when you get in a situation, you get your statement, you write your little incident report, you turn in your incident report. All right. They go over it. If the inmate pursues it, like he wants to, you know, they say they press charges or they want to file a lawsuit, then it gets sent up to IA. So when the IA guys come down from outside, this is exactly what they do in my case. And in everybody's case, basically. Every correctional officer that I know, this is what they did for us. They would come in and be like, do you remember what you said in your statement? And you're either 9 times out of 10 going to say, hell no, I don't remember what I wrote in that shit. So they'd be like, here's your statement, read it. And you read the statement, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember. Then they're like, all right, when I turn the camera on, say what is in your statement, and that's it.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So boom, bop, hit the camera. You know, they do the little, oh, we're here today, such and such, whatever. Situation happened with such and such. What happened? And I just repeated my statement. Is that all you want to say? That's all that happened. All right, click. Yo, good job, man. Go back to work.
Yeah, it's your word against the inmate's word.
Exactly.
Or
And
their word against yours, more like.
And 9 times out of 10, in that situation, who's going to come out on top?
Right.
Unless you have actual footage, you know, then you can't, you're not going to win. And that's how the whole system was in Georgia. I'm sure it's like that everywhere else, but that's how the whole system was. That's what we used to do. You know, I've seen dudes like jump on somebody and I would just walk away like, yo, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting involved in that one.
Right.
You know, because that, I mean, like I said, it's one thing when it's one-on-one. I could take a beating. I could take an ass whooping. It's one thing when it's one-on-one. But when you got 5 guys on one guy, I'm not gonna be a part of that. So I push off. But I created that type of reputation with the inmates. Like they know, you know, and I would tell them, like, even after the fact, I'd be like, yo, it was nothing personal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't not like you. I don't not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see how I am around here. I kick shit with everybody. I bullshit with everybody. But when you disrespect me, then it turns into what it is, disrespect. If you was on the street and somebody disrespect you just gonna eat it and walk off? You being the guy you say you are? No, you're not gonna. You're gonna address it.
I'm shocked, like all the guys that I know that have gone to like Florida State Prison, which I've known a bunch of guys who have just tons of stories about Florida State Prison, is that like they're afraid to even look at the guards, like because they know they'll get their ass beat. Because in the federal prison, like it's just almost not. I hate to say it just doesn't happen because I'm sure there are places it does happen, but for the most part, it just doesn't happen. Yeah, you know. But in most of the state prison stories that I've heard, and certainly in Florida, the guys that have gone to Florida have been like, "Oh, you don't even fucking look at these motherfuckers. Like you don't. They'll snap you up and yank you out, and the 2 guards will walk around the corner and just beat the shit. And they go like, nobody sees nothing. He's like, the inmates don't see anything. The fucking assistant warden doesn't see it. Nobody says he's got some bruises, and the inmate's too scared to testify because it could get even worse. Mm-hmm. So
you know retaliation is gonna happen regardless if they say it is or they not. Oh no, nothing's gonna happen to you. Bullshit. Yeah. Once you go back in that prison, there's nobody that can save you from that. Right. It's gonna happen. Like I work with a couple of guys now here in Florida, and they tell me the same thing. Like, yo, they got this one prison. I forgot the name of it here in Florida. They got a jar full of gold teeth.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot, we just had that guy. We just had a guy on that went there, and he's like, "That's true, bro. That they got that
they
jar."
were just telling me. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He was like, "Yeah." As soon as you walk in, they got a jar full of gold teeth. I was like, "Damn."
Now that they've knocked out a fucking inmate's head.
Yeah, and that shit. It wasn't that serious in Georgia. I mean, it was serious. Nowadays, I don't think that goes down too much like that. Because from what I see on TikTok and YouTube videos and all that on the prisons in Georgia now, I'm like, man, I'm glad I got out of there when I did. But, you know, so that all happened. That all transpired. So anyways, I'm coming up for promotion. I'm coming up to be a sergeant.
How long you been there?
I was there about a year and a half. I'm coming up to be a sergeant based off my reputation.
Right.
So it was at another prison, though. The prison was literally across the street. It was called Georgia State Prison. You could literally see it from the prison I was at. And Georgia State is a maximum security, you know, level 5, close inmates. So I was on the tactical squad, and my boy was like, yo, you should come over here and become a sergeant with me. You know, he was a sergeant. He was like, come over here, become a sergeant with me. We was on the tac squad together. So I was like, all right, fuck it, you know, more money. So I go over there. I go to the board. You know, it's a lieutenant, major, a couple of guys. They ask you a couple of correctional officer questions. Nothing too crazy. Count situations, all of that. So I'm like, all right. I was like, yeah, let's jump on it. So I did the board, aced it, and then they hired me. You know, they promoted me to sergeant. And I went over there. So when I get over there, at first, I'm not gonna front. I was like, okay, this is a different breed. This is real, like, guys who don't give a shit, which is cool. It is what it is. But the funny thing about it, when I got to the level 5, like I said, these are different type of dudes, and they are. They didn't act like the dudes in the minimum medium. Mm-hmm. They weren't disrespectful. They didn't run their mouth crazy or talk crazy, you know, unless you came at them a certain type of way. Then they didn't care neither. You know what I'm saying? Because I've got in a fight in there a couple times. So the first time I got into a situation, I was a sergeant. I'm coming in, I'm doing my rounds. And I don't know how other prisons are. Like I said, when you go into the dorm, they got clipboards with sheets on next to their cell with their picture. And you got to sign off on the sheet basically saying you came through as a sergeant and did your check. So I got to sign every single paper in front of every door. So I walk in the dorm, and there was like 2 flaps open because the female officer, was handing out ice. So as I'm walking through, you handing out ice. I'm not thinking nothing when I see a guy's cup on the flap. I'm thinking, okay, that's a cup full of ice because she was past his cell.
Yeah.
She didn't say nothing to me. She said he handing out the ice. So I'm signing the sheets. I get down close to his door, and I see his head peek out. And when I see his head peek out, I look, and I step back a little bit, but it was too late. I was close enough. He grabbed his cup, and he threw the shit on me. And it was piss.
Oh, okay.
It hit me right in my face, straight down, all the front of me. I got mad as hell.
So it's not you. It's just he's just a mental case.
Yeah, I guess, and I'll tell you why he did what he did after. It made no sense. So he did that. So I go upstairs to the central station. I take my shirt off, wash my face, and I was like, yo, it was in the evening. It was like probably like 10 o'clock at night. So there's no reason for me to call to open the cell at 10 o'clock at night. Because if I do that, my supervisor's going to call me, what's going on down there? Why are you opening up a cell? You know? So I look at the officer, I'm like, yo, when I go back down there, I'm just going to wave at you. Open cell 13. She was like, you sure? I said, yeah, open cell 13. She was like, all right. Because now I'm going in there, we're going to fight.
Right.
I don't care, we're going to fight. And whatever happens, happens. So I'll go back down. The officer, when I walk in, the officer's standing there. I say, yo, go out the back door. So she walks out the back door. As she's walking out the back door, one of the CERT dudes are coming in, just on some random shit. He just happened to walk in. He comes down the stairs. He's like, Sarge, what's going on? I was like, yo, this dude threw piss on me. I'm going in that room. We gonna fight. So he looks at me. He was like, all right, let's do it. I was like, no. Let me get in there. And I want to fight with him. Mm-hmm. And I was telling the guy, I said, I'm coming in there. We're gonna fight. He was like, come on in. He backed up to the back of the cell. He was like, come on in. I was like, I'm coming in. So the CERT dude stood at the door. I said, don't come in, you know, unless I start getting my ass whooped, then come in and get him off of me. But if not, leave it like it is. So I look at her, I wave, she opens the cell. I run up in there. Me and this, yo, I was like, I'm gonna get my ass whooped. Like, this is the one, he's gonna beat the shit out of me. Because we're trading blows face to face. Right. Boom, boom, boom. And everyone, like, I connect, he connect. But when he connect, I felt it, like, through my body. Like it was like when he hit me, I vibrated. I was like, oh shit, I don't know how long I could do this.
All right.
But we trading blows, and then finally in my head, I'm like, he's gonna knock me out. Because every time he hit me, I swear, like the vibration in my body, I was like, this dude's gonna knock me out. And if he does, ain't no telling what's gonna happen when I'm knocked out. I don't know. You know, I don't want to be knocked out. He starts stomping me. Then the dude comes in and grabs him.
Yeah.
So I just scooped down, grabbed him, picked him up, and slammed him on the bunk. When I slammed him on the bunk, he just stopped. So I put his hands behind his back, cuffed him because I had to take him to medical because of the situation.
Right.
So I cuff him up. Me and the cert dude taking him to medical. As we walk and I look at him, I was like, yo, can I ask you a question? He was like, yeah, what's up? I was like, why the hell did you throw piss on me? I don't know you. I never had a run-in with you. He was like, you was the first one to come in the door. I'm like, what? And that was the reason. There was no other reason. So we took him to medical, nothing was wrong. We had a few blows. It wasn't nothing crazy. He wasn't swolled up or nothing like that. So they were just like, oh, he's good. Brought him back to the dorm. And I was like, man, I said, yo, bro, next time, warn me. When I come in here, just be like, yo, Sarge, you better get out of here so I know not to walk to your cell and get pissed on me again. So that was one situation that happened. Another situation that happened when I was a correctional officer, I'm running showers. And I'm in Georgia, they call it SMU. They don't call it the SHU.
Right.
They call it SMU, Special Management Housing. And that's where they keep the worst of the worst. Like these two buildings in Georgia State Prison, they were called L&M building. They look like straight dungeons. Like you could literally stretch your arms like this, and that's wall to wall. Mm-hmm. The bed was right there. The sink was right at the head of the bed, and the toilet was right next to it. You had no room at all in them cells. They were so small. So one side was all locked down, solid doors, chains on the door. Literally chains with locks from the door to the base of the wall. The other side was cell house, was like, bars. So I'm in the cell house, I'm running showers. As I'm running showers and haircuts at the same time because I'm trying to get it all done in one shot. So one dude was like, yo, take me for a haircut, I'm like, all right, chill. You see I'm running showers and haircuts. I got you. As soon as I get a chance to get to you, I got you. He didn't want to hear that. He kept getting frustrated because I kept walking past. But how I used to do it was I'm going all the way to the back of the cell, to the cell block. And I'm running showers from the back all the way to the front because the showers are next to the front. So I feel like I'm going to get the back first. So then by the time I get to the front, it'll be easy money. Pull you out, boom, put you in the shower. I'm walking past his cell with a guy. I got him cuffed. I'm walking past. He whips an orange at me. And the orange literally just flew right past my face. The dude in front of me, the inmate, he like leaned forward. He was like, damn, Sarge, you're going to get me hit. I was like, my bad. So I'm coming back, and I'm like, yo, you better not throw nothing, bro. And when I go to walk past, he whips another orange at me. So I'm like, all right. I go out, go to my boy in the other building. I was like, yo, go over there and grab cell such and such. Bring him to the barbershop. He was like, why you won't do it? I was like, he ain't going to come out for me now because he threw something at me. So he knows, if I come out for you, you're gonna put hands on me. I was like, he ain't gonna come out for me, so just go grab him for me and bring him. So he was like, all right. He goes and gets him, he brings him. I'm standing in the barbershop. And in that unit, when you walk into the barbershop, it's like a cell. It's got the bars on it. Like you go in there and we lock you in.
Right.
And then you get your hair cut and then we pull you out. So he comes, as soon as he turns the corner, he's handcuffed. As soon as he turns the corner, he just sees me standing there behind the barber chair. And he was like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah, you know what it is, right? He was like, Sarge, wait. Nah, bro. I was like, yo, my man was with me. But like I told him, don't jump in unless he starts whooping my ass. Then get him off of me. That was my thing.
Right.
Like, if he starts beating the shit out of me, grab him and get him off of me, man. So I don't get too beat up. But I'm like, that was my thing. Like, we're going to fight and whatever. It doesn't matter. So my boy takes the handcuffs off and he closes the door. And when he does, I'm behind the chair. So I just reached over the chair, grabbed him, and pulled him into the chair. When I pulled him into the chair, he literally stomach first. So he's like all fucked up sitting in the chair with his stomach instead of his back. So I had him by the shirt and I just started rocking him, hitting him in his face. Started switching hands. I beat him. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I beat the shit out that kid. So after I got done, like I said, my adrenaline's rushing. I'm still in my 20s. Mm-hmm. I'm like 24, 25 at the time now.
Right.
This was like right before I caught my case. So I'm rocking him. Go to take him to the hospital floor. I'm mad as hell. I'm pissed off. My adrenaline's running. I'm all on fumes. I'm like, man, I'm hot. So I'm not even paying attention to the guy. I'm just like, he's crying, and I'm just walking him to the medical floor. Like, I don't want to hear shit. I don't care. He shouldn't have threw shit at me. I had that attitude. Get him to the hospital floor. As soon as I walk in, again, I'm not even paying attention to this guy. As soon as I walk in, the nurse leans back, and she's like, God damn, what the fuck happened to him? And that's when I like looked at him. I was like, oh shit. This dude's face was so swollen. His eyes was almost closed. And from him crying, he had puddles of tears sitting on his cheeks. They wouldn't roll down because he was that swollen. I was like, God damn. I was like, ain't no way I could explain this one, man. For real. But I genuinely, after I seen that, I genuinely felt so bad because I lost it. Like I didn't have control of myself when I did that. So when I'm walking him back, like there was nothing broke in his face. Thank God. He was just a person that if you know how you tap somebody, they welt up easy. He was that type of person. He just welted up easy and got swollen easy.
My wife's like that. Every time I...
Yeah. You might not want to say that
like
on
a
here.
blowfish.
No, but he was one of them that just swelled up fast, welted up easy. So I'm walking him back, and I looked at him. I said, man, I'm sorry, man. He was just like, it's all right, it's all right. I was like, nah, it ain't all right. I was like, I lost control. And I apologize. I was like, if you wanna file an incident report, you wanna file a report, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna file one. I'm not gonna say that I didn't hit you. If you file a report on me, I'm not gonna say I didn't hit you. And he was like, no, it's all good. It's all good. I know how this shit works. Again, right. I know how this shit works. Y'all are gonna stick together. You're gonna sweep it under the table. And I genuinely felt bad, but I was just like, what can I do? I told you to do it. You don't want to do it. I get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I get it. I get their mentality. So I was like, all right, whatever. That incident, it was times where like some of the inmates, like I said, I used to try to be cool with everybody. I'm in my early 20s. I'm still a kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just starting to learn how to conduct myself as a respectable person. So they would come to me because they seen how I acted, how I talked, how I kicked it with them. Some of the inmates would come to me and be like, yo, Sarge, can you ask that dude if I could get him head up with him? One of the guards. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, oh, yeah? We're like,
if I can get what?
A head up, one-on-one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's go in the room so I can get on one-on-one.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought it was at all. Okay. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're thinking. But
I just talk to him, like have a conversation with him.
Where,
oh, okay.
Where I come, you say, yo, let me get a head up. That means let me get a one-on-one. So I go to the officer. I'm like, yo, what's his name? He wants a one with you. What's up? You down? And they'd be like, hell yeah, I'll give him that. And we go put him in the little room, lock him in the room, and let him fight. And that's what would happen.
Like a fight club.
Yeah, but it didn't get to like that. Like we were like, yo, it's not first blood or nothing. Obviously, sometimes you get hit, you're gonna bleed. But we're like, we're not trying to kill each other. Just get an understanding is what we called it. And it was a lot of times it was the inmate's idea.
Right.
Like if you mad at an officer and he won't give you that, and then you come to me and ask me if it's okay to do it, and I go to the officer and be like, do you want to? If you don't, it's cool.
Right.
But if you wanna put hands in and see what happens, let's do it. And sometimes the officer would be like, hell yeah, I'll do it. I had this new guy come in. He was an ex-Marine. He was crazy. White guy, glasses. He looked square as hell, but he was serious. And he was running showers one day. Somebody threw something on him. So he comes up to me. He's like, can I go in there, please? And I'm like, what? He said, just open the cell. Let me go in there. He's like, I'm going to whoop his ass. He threw something on me. And I'm like, you sure? He was like, yeah. I was like, so you know how we do this, right? He was like, yeah, I ain't saying shit. I was like, but if you heard him, we got to take him to medical and you have to write a statement on what happened. Now, if I get him to agree to this, head up situation, this is how it's got to go down. You know what I mean? Don't go in there try and kill the kid, like,
right.
Or vice versa. Like, I'll tell the inmate, like, don't try to kill him. Just get an understanding. Get, like a brother, me and my brother fighting. We're going to fight, but we ain't going to fight to kill each other. We're just going to fight to get an understanding. And that's what I did. So, oh my God. I had to run in there and grab the Marine off of him because he went crazy. Like, I think he had a flashback or something because he was starting to whoop his, and there's no room. The Marine was big as hell, cock diesel. He ran up in there and they just started fighting. And I had to grab him because he just wouldn't stop. He just kept hitting him. I was like, oh shit. Ran in there and grabbed him, pulled him out. But it was shit like that we used to do at Georgia State Prison. Now, again, there's inmates in there that they didn't play either. It's not like we was just, like they just had their way. You didn't have your way. And it wasn't all the time that they would agree to giving you a head-up fight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I seen all that extra shit with CERT teams running in on people. We had a shock shield in Georgia State Prison where it got the electricity running through the shield. And they hit you with the electricity, pick you up off the floor, slam you on the ground, and they just keep pressing the electricity. The whole time screaming, stop resisting.
Right.
How the hell am I resisting? You hit me with electricity.
Right.
But yeah, situations like that. Stop resisting, stop resisting. And you're like, damn, he's not resisting. Because as a supervisor, like as the sergeant, all I had to do was hold the camera.
Right.
While the CERT runs in there. So I'm holding the camera, you know, naturally when it gets too over with it, I drop the camera, you know, the camera falls, situations like that. What happened? It was getting too crazy. I had to drop the camera to run in there. And,
right.
You know what I mean? Shit like that. But it was all cover up shit. Everybody told everybody what to say, how to say it, how to write it. You know, when you go to IA would tell you what to say, how to say it.
Right.
Don't say this. Just say what you said here. Boom, leave it at that. You know? And I was just like, damn. But again, I'm in my early 20s. I don't know no better. I'm just like, shit, this is what we're doing. You know what I mean? So then I'm a sergeant. I'm on the tax squad. We going through the whole state of Georgia, raiding prisons, shaking them down for contraband, you know. So the guy that told me to come over there to work, you know, to go for the sergeant position and come over there, me and him got cool. I'm not gonna say we were friends because we hung out maybe 2 times outside of the job. And he for like a whole year, he was like, yo, come to my town. And I'm like, why? What is so good about your town? And he's like, man, my boy owns a bar. It'll be free. We'll go in there. We have a good time. It's a laid back scene. We could chill, have some drinks, no drama. So for about a year, I was like, nah, I'm not going over there. Because it's literally Jessup, Georgia. If anybody knows anything about Jessup, Georgia, it's probably like population 1,000. It might be more now. But back in 2006, yeah, there wasn't that many people there. The bar was literally on a highway with nothing but trees around it. You got the bar and then a hotel right behind the bar. There was nothing else on that street, you know? So eventually I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come with you. I was going through a personal situation at home. So I was like, you know what? I'll come out there. I'll come out there, stay the night with you. I was like, but you gotta come pick me up. I'm not driving because I know I'm gonna be drinking and you an hour away from me. So he was like, all right, I'll come get you. So he comes and picks me up. We go to his house first. We start crack open it. We used to drink MGDs at that time, the Miller Genuine Drafts. Pop a case open. We start drinking.
Can I ask a question real quick? What kind of money are you making at this point? I mean, you start making not great money, but now you're a lieutenant. And
I was making probably close to $40,000 a year at this time.
And how long have you been working there at this point?
At this point, it was only 3 years.
Okay.
I only been there 3 years. It was 2003 I started working there, and I got up to that position in 2006.
Okay.
So 2006, the end, going towards the end of 2006. Yeah, I was doing, but I was still living on the grounds.
Yes,
I still had a house.
No bills.
Exactly. I got no bills. You know, I think the rent was like $100 a month, everything included. The only other thing I had to pay for was cable. So I'm paying $100 for rent and $30 for cable.
Right.
It was nothing.
All right.
So yeah, all my money was basically coming to me. I end up going out with him. He comes and picks me up. We go to his house. Yeah. We start drinking. He's like, yo, I'm going to take you to my boy's bar. He owns the bar. It was a bar called the Jaeger House in Jessup, Georgia. He was like, we're going to go there. And mind you, it was a corner bar. It wasn't a nightclub. It wasn't no sports bar. It was a literally corner bar. You walk in and it could probably fit 50 people in there. Okay? So then it's me, him, and his wife. He's like, we're going to go over there. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to chill, whatever. Everything's good. We don't got to pay for nothing. Okay, cool, whatever. We go. We get to the bar. We start drinking. Next thing you know, this girl that I used to mess with, she was a correctional officer with me. And, you know, I had her like, she was like my little side chick that I was messing with. But we both understood what we were doing. Anyway, she shows up. I didn't know she was coming. when she shows up, I'm like, damn. So she walks in the bar. She walks up to me. She's like, here, hold my keys, because she don't have no pockets. She was like, can you hold my keys? I was like, yeah. So I grab her car keys, put them in my pocket. We're chilling. We're having some drinks. Next thing you know, I see my boy. Well, I'm not even going to call him my boy. I see the guy. Mm-hmm. He brought me. Well, I seen him over there arguing with his wife. So I walk over there. I'm like, yo, you good? He was like, man, I got to take her home. She's bugging out. She's tripping. I was like, all right, well, we'll go with you. And he was like, no, stay here, because I'm coming back. So I'm like, oh, okay, bet. You know, if you're coming back, you know, I'm with your friends who you introduced me to, so I'm thinking everything's kosher. Like, all right, cool, go ahead. Well, I'll be here. He only lived 10 minutes away. So he leaves. I go up to the table where we were at. Table in the corner. She was sitting at the end of the table. She had her drink on the table. I got my drinks here. I had 2 Crown and Cokes and a Corona. And I'm sitting there. I drink my drinks, drink the Corona, order 2 more, put them back down. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. So she's like, all right, go ahead. You know, I'll be right here. So I go outside, I smoke a cigarette. I come back in, she's sitting there, and I see her like, she drinks her drink. She's chilling. I grab my cup. Next thing you know, I look at her, and she like put her head down on the table. And I'm looking, I'm like, damn. So I'm thinking in my head, maybe she started drinking before she came.
Right.
You know, and maybe she's just got a headache or something. So I didn't bother her. I didn't, yo, you okay? It's not like she passed out and,
right.
But when she put her head down, she ended up passing out.
Okay.
So I'm just sitting there. I drink my 2 drinks again, grab the Corona. I start drinking the Corona. And when I put the Corona down, I'm standing there and it's like, I started getting hot and I started feeling lightheaded. And I was like, damn. So, I mean, as a drinker, you always think, let me smoke a cigarette. Maybe that'll help. I don't know why people think like that. But that's how I used to think. Let me smoke a cigarette. Maybe that'll help. So I'm like, I look, she's slumped, sleep. Again, I'm thinking we good. We around people that he introduced us to. So I go outside, light up another cigarette. As I'm smoking the cigarette, I'm probably halfway through. And I smoke Newport 100s at the time. Probably halfway through the cigarette. And I see the bouncer and another guy, the guy that he introduced me to as his brother. He didn't work there, but he was there like if it was his place too. Mm-hmm. So the bouncer and the guy that he introduced me to, the one that brought me there, they come walking out carrying her. So I look and I'm like, yo, where y'all going? And they were like, oh, we're gonna take her home. And I'm like, what? For one, she lives an hour away. She lived where I lived, near the prison. So I'm like, y'all don't even know where she live. I said, you know what? You could take us to this dude's house. Cause he, that's who we're here with. That's who I came with. So bring me to his house. So the one dude got mad. They like open the back door, put her in the back seat. The one dude goes back in the bar. He's pissed off. The other guy looks, I go jump in the passenger seat. And I don't know why he decided to still go through with it. I have no clue. But he still decided to jump in the car and drive off. So I gave him the keys. He jumped in and he drove off. He's speeding. We end up getting in an accident. I don't remember exactly how the accident went. All I know is I wake up in the car. It's upside down. I'm looking around. He's gone. And I can't see her because she's in the back seat. I'm in the front.
Right.
So I climb out the car and I sit down next to the car because when I climb out, there's no lights on this highway. It's nothing but trees around me. I'm not running into no woods. I don't know where the hell I'm at. So I'm like, I sat down next to the car.
Do you have a cell phone?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
At the whole night, I got my cell phone and I had a universal pager because I was on the tax squad. So if something happened in the prison, they would page us.
Right.
And we had like an hour or two to get to the prison, get ready, and go wherever we had to go. All right? So when the state trooper comes, he starts asking me questions, who was driving. I was like, I don't know. I don't know who was driving. I'm still not knowing that she's hanging out the back seat of the car, like out the back window. I'm literally sitting, when I climbed out, I sat right down when I climbed out. Like, I'm not going nowhere. I don't know where I'm at. I didn't go to the back of the car. I didn't know she was hanging out the back windshield.
Okay.
So when the state trooper comes, he picks me up. We start talking. He's like, who was driving? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, that's impossible. You're the only one here. And I'm like, well, I don't know who was driving. So then she was hanging out the back windshield, and that's when, the ambulance pulled up. Next thing you know, they all, all throughout all the commotion, they put her on the stretcher, and they start walking her to the ambulance. So I walk over to her while she's on the stretcher, and I'm like, yo, you okay? She wasn't like wide awake looking at me like, yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? You could tell she was like in and out of it. But she's like, I'm good. Are you good? I'm good. Are you good? I'm like, I'm good. I'm standing here. You on the stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, damn, what happened? What happened? I was like, I don't know. They put her in the ambulance. As they're putting her in the ambulance, the state trooper grabs my arm. And when he grabs my arm, just off of my natural defenses, I turned, spun my arm, and I grabbed him by like the forearm. So we both holding each other like this.
Right.
And I like jacked him back a little bit, so he let go, and then I like straight armed him. Not like hard, but just like a little slight push to back him up, and he tripped over his own foot and hit the ground. And that was it. He hopped up, he grabbed me, turn around, put your hands behind your back, da-da-da. So I did all of that. He handcuffed me, and his exact words was, I don't care who was driving, I'm charging you. That was the exact words. So I'm like, damn. I was like, fuck it, charge me. Because in my head, I knew I wasn't driving. So charge me. We go, he takes me to the hospital. Now, mind you, how I am, I don't know how everybody else is, but when I drink, while I'm drinking, I don't feel shit. I can start feeling the buzz and everything, but at that time, I was consuming a lot of alcohol. So I didn't know when I was drunk. You know what I'm saying? Right. I felt a little buzz, and I'm like, okay, cool. It never hit me until I stopped drinking. Even to this day, if I have a few drinks or whatever, it don't hit me until I stop. Okay. When I stop, that's when the liquor like settles in, and I'm just like, oh shit, I'm feeling nice. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it went, I guess, that night. It hit me all in one shot. So he ends up taking me to the county jail. They booked me. I don't even remember being booked. I don't. Now, I don't know if I hit my head, had a concussion. Sometimes your memories come in and out. I don't know all the specifics of that. But I don't remember being booked. So I wake up in the cell, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, what the fuck? And in Jessup, Georgia, in the county jail, they got little like speakers on the wall with a button. Mm-hmm. That you go and you hit the button, and the police come, what do you want?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, can somebody tell me why I'm here? Because again, when we crashed, I didn't know if we hit nobody. I don't know what happened.
Right.
All I seen when I came out that car was our car, well, her car, in the middle of the street. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I used to mess with this girl. So I drove that car plenty of times. My fingerprints probably all over everything in the car. I put in her stereo system. So the trunk, obviously, my handprints are all over the trunk, all over the insides. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I was messing with her for like a couple months before this even happened. Okay, so the little sheriff girl comes back on the thing. She's like, I can't tell you why you're here. You got to wait for the inspector to come. So I'm like, what? You can't tell me what I'm charged with? She was like, no, not your case. We can't tell you. You got to wait. So I'm like, damn. All right. So I'm sitting there. The same guy who brought me to the bar knew all the little sheriff deputies that worked at the county jail. So then they come, one of the ladies comes, she opens my cell. She's like, yo, you got a visit. We're not supposed to give you this visit because you haven't seen the inspector yet. But what's his name? His name was Monty. She was like, Monty told us that, he knows you and da-da-da, so we're going to let you see him, and he got a girl with him. So I'm like, okay. I go out to the visit, it's my baby mom. And she's sitting there and she's crying. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? What happened? Because again, I don't know that somebody died.
Right.
I didn't see none of that. I didn't see nothing. All I seen was the car that I was in. So I'm like, what happened? And then she looks at me and she was like, yo, you killed somebody. I was like, what? In my head, I'm like, damn, did I like shoot somebody? Because I always had, weapons.
Right.
So I'm like, did I shoot somebody? Like, what you mean? She was like, you got in a car accident and you killed somebody. I was like, what? So me knowing how Georgia is, I'm like, yo, you might as well just forget about me.
Right.
She was like, what you mean? I said, they're going to try to fry me. A body in a car accident and DUI? I was like, I'm going to get so much time, you ain't going to be around. I know that. So she ends up, we end up talking a little bit. I look at him. I'm like, yo, what happened? I wasn't there. I left to bring my wife home. When I came back, you were gone.
Right.
That's what he tells me. right there in the county jail. So I'm like, all right. I was like, well, let's see what happens. So I'm waiting for my arraignment. I get arraigned. I don't hear nothing for like 2 days. Then they come and say I got a bond. So I'm like, oh shit, let's go. I call my mom. My mom was like, I got you. She bonded me out. I get out. As I'm driving home, my baby mom, I'm like, damn, I'm looking in my property and all I got is my universal pager, my ID and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, like, where the hell is my phone? My baby mom looks at me. She's like, oh, what's his name has your phone? Monty. She was like, Monty got your phone. I'm like, how the fuck did he get my phone? And she was like, I don't know. He called me from your phone. So I'm like, damn. So, okay, I get home. I call him. I'm like, yo, bring me my phone. He was like, all right, I got you. As soon as I get around to it, I'll come to your house and bring you your phone. I'm like, all right. He comes to my house. I'm like, yo, just out of curiosity, how did you get my phone? He was like, oh, you left it in my truck. I was like, for real? He was like, yeah, you left it in my truck. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
So you drove there in his truck, went to the bar, never had your phone, never used your phone the whole time, and then got in the car, don't ever recall losing your phone?
No, but check it. So here's where it gets kind of interesting. He says that to me. I left it in his truck.
Right.
Right? The investigators are investigating everybody. Okay? And his statement to the state trooper was, he came back to the bar. I was gone. He went to look for me. He couldn't find me. So he went home. Then he turns around, and I didn't find out none of this until the day of the trial. Like when I went there and we picked the jury, this is when I found out what I found out. We go there, we pick the jury, right? We pick the jury. My lawyer's like, I had a public defender because I'm not going to hold you. The lawyer's like 100,000, 75,000. I'm like, I don't got that kind of money. Fuck correctional officer making 40,000 a year. I don't got $100,000 to throw to you.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I got the public defender because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get convicted. You can't convict me. I know you can't. In my head, at least.
Right.
They didn't tell me everything that was in the case, like the evidence or anything. The day that I picked the jury, he's like, yo, let's go to this back room and talk for a minute.
Who?
The lawyer, my public defender. So I'm like, all right, we go to the little back room where they have the little interviews. And he's like, yo, listen, you're going to lose. And I was like, what do you mean? I swear to you, this is exactly what he says. He says, you're going to lose. And when we lose, they're going to give you 37 years.
Sheesh.
The homicide by vehicle is a total of 15 years. 2 counts of serious injury by vehicle is 10 apiece.
Okay.
DUI, reckless driving, a year apiece. That's 37 total. All right? So I'm looking at him, I'm like, damn. I'm like, is there anything we could do? Like, why do you feel like I'm going to lose?
Did they ever bring you a deal prior to this?
No.
Okay.
No. So I'm like, why do you feel like I'm going to lose? Now, mind you, this was 3 years later. This happened in 2006. They didn't bring me to court till 2009.
All right.
So I'm like, why do you think we're going to lose? He slides me 3 pieces of paper. And on each one of them papers, one paper is a statement from the guy who brought me to the bar, Monty. And he's like, in his statement, it says, I seen him get in the car and drive off. The owner of the club, which was his best friend,
Right.
wrote in his statement, I seen him get in the car and drive off, speeding out the parking lot. Some random female that I didn't know, I never heard of this lady, same thing. I seen him get in the car and drive off. So he's like, with these 3 statements, you're going to prison.
Right.
He was like, there's no way. And then he was like, Georgia, they go by hearsay.
Right.
You don't even have to see me do it. Somebody could tell you they seen me do it, and you say, oh, well, this person told me they seen him drive away. And you get convicted in Georgia. They go off of hearsay. So I'm like, damn, when he told me that, I'm like, wait a minute. But I heard that he told the state troopers that when he came back to the bar, I wasn't there, so he went home. He pulls out a statement that he wrote to the state troopers saying that when he pulled up to the scene, the state trooper gave him my phone. Exactly.
Okay.
So I'm like, why would the state trooper give him my phone?
Right.
Like, ain't that like some type of evidence or
yeah.
something? Like, but he was like, I guess he knew the state trooper, and he told the state trooper that he knew me and this and that. So the state trooper gave him my phone. That's what his next statement said. The other statement that he supposedly said that, oh, I came there, he wasn't there, and I went home.
Right.
Didn't see it.
Right.
Wasn't even around. So I'm like, damn. Okay. I'm like, you know what? So what can we do? My lawyer's like, look, this is the deal that they're going to give us. 15 years. You serve 14. 1 year on probation. That's my deal. I'll pull it up on my phone right now for you. That's my deal.
What about tracking down? Of course, by this point, it's the day of trial. So I was going to say, what about tracking down the bouncer that drove the vehicle?
Exactly. So this is my theory. Now, I don't know how true this is, but this is my theory of what happened that night. When we crashed, he seen my phone. Because I'll tell you what, when I petitioned for my phone records to come in, there was one phone call made after the accident to the guy that brought me to the bar.
Okay.
If I'm calling you, how are you getting my phone?
Right.
So just me, I'm not saying it's facts because I don't know if it's facts, but I feel like when we crashed, the guy got my phone. He found it in the mix of the crash or whatever, got my phone, climbed out, called Monty. Monty came to the scene, picked his ass up, and took off.
Okay.
And he gave him my phone. Because I know damn well I had my phone on me. I don't leave nowhere without my phone.
Right.
I keep my phone on me at all times. But that's how that situation happened. So how is my phone making a phone call to you? And then all of a sudden you get my phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it was some shady shit there. I really do. And then all of a sudden you telling me you wasn't there. You left. You went home. So how are you writing a statement willing to testify against me, saying that you seen me drive off?
So you think that these guys were friends with the bouncer?
Yeah, they were.
That more friends than you guys.
Of course.
Right.
How he introduced me to him was like, this is my brother.
Yeah.
The guy that was driving, he was like, this is my brother. This is my best friend. The owner of the bar, that's my best friend. The bouncer, this is my brother. Now, I mean, let's just be real.
You're a work friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the first time we actually went out and hung out. You know, he would come to the river when all the rest of us from work were at the river. He would pull up. It was never a me and him going out partying all the time type situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the only thing I could think of is, how did you get my phone? And then on my phone records, there was one phone call placed after the accident. That don't make sense to me. Did you grab my phone and call your phone?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm not knowing none of this stuff yet because I don't have my paperwork, my transcripts, nothing. But when he told me that about the 3 statements and all of that they were willing to testify me, they were there in the courtroom that day. I seen them, all 3 of them, just sitting there. I'm just like, are you kidding me? So you know what? I was like, all right. I said, so what's the deal? He told me the deal: 15, 14 to serve, 1 year on probation. So I'm like, he was like, you'll be out in probably 8. He was like, if you don't and we go to trial and you lose, you'll be out in 20-something.
Right.
What do you want to do? You know? So I'm like, for one, I'm not, when they were asking me who did it, who was driving, I'm not going to tell you anyway, even if I knew. That's not my job. That's your job. You are a police officer. But how many police officers actually fucking find out what's going on without somebody telling them?
Right. I was going to say, you should have said something. You should have said, this is the fucking guy.
I should have. And now that I'm a grown man and I'm older and I've realized that, hell yeah, I should have said something. But back then, I'm just on that smart ass mentality,
right.
that, you know, that I don't give a shit mentality. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. So it was like, I'm not doing your job. You do your job. I don't know who was driving. And the funny thing about it too, in my transcripts, when I finally get my transcripts, there was a video recording of the girl that got in the accident with me. She didn't die.
Yeah.
It was somebody in another vehicle.
Oh, okay.
We hit another vehicle. They shot off the road into the woods and smacked the tree. Somebody got killed in that.
Right.
That's why I didn't see that there was another vehicle. So I didn't know why I was being arrested or that somebody died. So anyways, I'm looking at her video when I get my transcripts, and she's like, the state trooper's like, so who was driving? And she was like, you need to be finding Richard. Because Richard is the one who was driving. That's exactly what she said in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And the state trooper was like, we're not worried about him. We're worried about Rodriguez. How is that any type of investigation?
Right.
If she's telling you in the video, you need to find Richard. That was his name. That was the guy's name. That's all I knew about it. But I didn't say that. You know, she was just like, I got the video. She was like, you need to find him. No, we're not worried about him. We're worried about Rodriguez. That was it. So to me, all odds were against me anyway. For whatever reason, I don't know. For whatever reason, I have no clue. I can't even answer that for you. But that's exactly what happened.
So you take a plea. You take the plea.
I
obviously.
take the 15, 14 to serve, 1 year on probation. And I'm like, fuck it. It is what it is. So I tell the judge, I'm like, can I get a week to get my affairs in order? He was like, yeah. Then the family stood up, said their piece respectfully. And he was like, okay, well, you got 1 day. Mind you, I lived in New York. I didn't live in Georgia no more.
Right.
I had to fly back and forth every single time I had a court date. So I'm just like, all right, I leave, go grab something to eat, go to the hotel, eat, next morning wake up, come back to court, go to jail. So I get sent to the county jail in Jessup, Georgia. When I get there, at first, obviously they know I was a correctional officer. They put me on PC.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in PC. I'm chilling in PC. There for like three weeks. The sergeant of the jail comes up into my cell. He's like, yo, you want to work outside? I'm like, huh? He was like, you want to work outside? He was like, I know you used to be a correctional officer. I'm not worried about you running. He was like, do you want to work outside? I could get you out of here so you don't got to be in here all day. I'm like, for real? He was like, yeah. He was like, if anybody knows Georgia, the inmates work at the courthouse. They work at the police stations. They work at the sheriff's stations. They clean up, free labor.
Right.
Because they don't pay you in Georgia. Nothing.
Right.
So he's like, you go outside, you work, everything's
It beats
good.
being trapped inside the fucking cell all day.
Exactly. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. So at first they'll come and get me at like 7, bring me back at like 7 at night. Cool. I'm out there, I'm washing police cars. They was their shit, like their actual building was being renovated. So they were stationed in an old high school in Jessup, Georgia. They had the sheriff's department and the police station right next to each other inside the school. But if in Georgia, the classes are like, you come outside and you walk down hallways to go to your classes, but it's outside. It's not inside. It's not like New York where it's all one big building, you got to stay inside. So my room, like the sheriff, the police is here. My room was outside the door. You go down the little hallway into a classroom. They gave me my own little section. They was like, when we pull in, because there was a little split driveway between where they were at and where I was at. They was like, the cars will pull in, they'll beep, you come out, clean the car, park them, put the keys in this little rack, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, cool, this is sweet. I'm not in prison, I'm not in jail, I'm out here. I was doing the right thing. Every day they needed me, I was doing my thing. I ended up becoming really good friends with a guy named Captain Popple. He was the captain over the Jessup Sheriff's Department. So me and him start talking. He starts asking me about my case. He says, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to talk to the judge. That don't sound right. And then he was telling me about the guy Richard.
Okay.
He's like,
Right.
I heard. Oh, I know him. He's well known around here. He's a troublemaker. He's this, he's that. He's a short dude. He's shorter than me.
They're the worst.
Black hair. You know what I'm saying? So if you were to see him and me, you would think we were kind of related because he looked like a Hispanic dude. He looked like he was Latin. So, okay, he's telling me about him. Oh, he's a troublemaker, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't believe you're gonna do nothing for me. Whatever, just it's cool. We got real cool. So we're in the little room that I was in. I had my own little refrigerator. I had my own TV. Because while I'm sitting there waiting for a car to pull up to wash, there's nothing for me to do.
Right.
So they made sure I had a little TV, a little refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? And then he went and bought, or I don't know if he bought it or not, but he brought me this little ass grill. And he was like, yo, instead of putting your money into the county jail, just have your people send your money here, cash. And when you want something, take one of the unmarked cars, go to Walmart, get your little meats or whatever, and then come back and you could cook right there. And it's funny because if I would have heard somebody saying this shit, I would have been like, you full of shit.
Right.
There's no fucking way they let you do that. But that's exactly how they treated me. Now, maybe it was the perks because I used to be a CO.
Right.
And they were just like, we trust you a little bit more than we trust other people. I don't know if that was it, but that was it. That's how they treated me at the county jail. So the captain would come up to me like, man, I don't want you to leave. If it was up to me, I'll let you do your whole time here. So he was like, let me make a few phone calls, see what I could do. So I'm thinking like, oh shit, that's sweet. That's not gonna happen.
No, it's never going to happen. I was going to say, there's no way.
There's no fucking way. So I'm there for 4 months. He helped me there as long as he could. After that, he comes up to me and said, man, I can't keep you. You gotta go through processing. You gotta go through, So I'm just like, all right, whatever. 4 months go by, they send me to reception, a prison called Jackson State Prison in Georgia. When they pull up into that prison, it's a big ass parking lot. They pull in. Everybody gets out the van or the bus or whatever. You're still shackled and all that, but you're all in the parking lot just walking around. Inmates. There's no like, yo, you guys stand here and stay right here, don't move.
Right.
They get you off the van and they say, yo, stay close because they're going to call your name. And everybody's just walking around, kicking it with each other, talking. I was scared to death, man.
Why?
Cause.
Do you think somebody's going to recognize you?
How can you not recognize me?
I mean,
It's been 3 years since I was a CO now.
Yeah.
This happened in 2006. I didn't go to Jackson till 2010. It was February 2010 when I actually went to reception. All right. So I'm like, I got kind of a little couple of years span to hopefully people forgot me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was basing it off of. Like, okay, hopefully they forgot me. So I'm standing there, I'm scared shitless. I'm like, oh my God, if somebody recognize, what can I say? There's nothing I can say. Because everybody's going to turn on me now. Even the guys that I came there with and was laughing and joking in the fucking van, somebody comes up and says, yo, you used to be a sergeant at da-da-da-da. It's over with. Nobody did. The whole I'm sitting there, I'm chilling, no issue so far. I'm like, good, I made it. I go inside.
I made it through the parking lot.
Made it through the parking lot. I go into they call our names, we go inside, one big room with the showers, stand in a circle. They tell us all to strip. Now, what I thought I heard him say was strip down to your boxers. Because I didn't know, because I never been in a situation where I had a whole bunch of inmates in a room together and told them all to get naked.
Yeah.
It was always one-on-one or like outside detail type shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm coming from the county jail. Mind you, this is my first time dealing with this. I'm coming from the county jail to a prison. What can I have on me? That's how I'm thinking. I'm dumb. I'm green. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I thought I heard him say get down to your boxers. So I stripped down to my drawers. Everybody else butt ass naked. I'm like, oh shit. But before I could even think to move, one of the COs pull up on me. He was like, can you speak English? I was like, yeah. He said, well, take your fucking boxers off, stupid. I was like, oh shit. That's when I realized they got real.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing.
They start talking to you like you're a dog.
Oh man. So they got a table with a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a CO who's doing your paperwork, determining what housing unit you're gonna go to and all of that. So you go, they stand in a line right behind each other. You walk up towards the showers. They throw some powder on you, on your head and on your shit.
Delousing.
Yeah, you go in there, you take your shower and all that. They shave your head. In Georgia, they shave your head, all that.
Oh.
All that. Yeah, you're fucking looking like a reach. I look like I was back in basic training in the military. So we go through all that. They dress you out. You get dressed. Go up to the table. They tell you your shit. And as the dude is reading my paper with my charges and everything and whatever, they put your ex-employment stuff on there.
Right.
He's
He
reading
just
the paper.
stops and looks
he
at
just
you.
fucking stops and looks at me. And he's like, you're not supposed to be here.
Ugh.
And I'm like, what? He was like, hold on a minute. Picks the paperwork up and he goes outside the door. Comes back in, the whole CERT team. They grab me, handcuff me, and they take me to my cell. They put me in lockdown. They put me in PC.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in lockdown. No problems, no issues. I'm in lockdown the whole time I'm there. Going through the processing part. You go to the little classes, you take these little fucking courses to figure out your IQ and shit. Bullshit like that. So I go through all that shit. Next thing you know, they classify me. They put me at close security. First time ever in prison.
Right.
Car accident. Close security.
There was a death.
Well, goddamn, it was an accident.
I hear you.
So I'm like, what the fuck? So they're like, okay, you're gonna go to the first prison they sent me to was Macon State Prison in Georgia. That was the first prison I hit after reception. I hit Macon State. When I get to Macon State, there was a warden there called Warden Head. All right, this is in 2010. He's doing inspection. He stops at my cell. He reads my name. He looks in my window. You know, I'm standing there. He looks back like that. And he's like, open cell, such and such, such and such. They open the cell. He walks in. He's like, Rodriguez. You know, you got to talk low because they could hear it through the vents.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm looking at him like, what? You're the warden, sir. Like, this is your prison.
Right.
What do you mean, what am I doing here? He's like, you're not supposed to be here. I'm like, why does everybody keep telling me this shit?
Right.
He's like, bro, I'm going to transfer you. I can't have you here. They're going to kill you. Because they ended up closing down Georgia State Prison. And that's where I worked at. And they sent half the inmates to Macon State and then the other half of the inmates to Hayes State Prison. So here's the funny thing about that. Macon State and Hayes, right? I'm going to get you out of here. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't know how everything works being on that side now. So I'm just like, fuck it. I'm going to just ride it out till I hear something. So they run a yard one morning. I ended up being real tight with this Mexican dude next door to me. Like, we talked through the vent. Then we would both go to the yard on the dog cages and talk shit through there. I'm trying to coast it. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna coast 14 years in prison without getting found out. So I get back to that street mentality. Like, now I got to go back to like survival mode.
Right.
And that's what I started thinking as. So then we get on the yard, and this dude that I used to know from Georgia State Prison, he was an inmate. His name was Rico, big dude, cool as hell. Me and him we never had an issue. He was always cool. I used to take him to go get insulin all the time. So as I'm sitting there in the cage, they bringing him out to come to the yard, and he walks past me, and he's talking shit. He was like, he's very flamboyant, loud mouth. He's talking shit all over the place. Then he looks over at me, he looks back, he's like, Sarge? I was like, oh shit, here it goes. This is it. So I looked at him, I was like, what up, Rico? He was like, man, I knew your ass was one of us. Swear to God, that's what he said. I knew you was one of us. I knew you was gonna end up being one of us. I'm like, damn. He was like, he was telling everybody, he was cool as hell. He was this, he was that. Like I said, I never did nothing unless you disrespected me.
Right.
That was the only time I reacted. Other than that, it was smooth sailing with me. So boom, 2 weeks later, never seen the compound yet. 2 weeks later, they shipped me. They shipped me to Hayes State Prison. This is where the other half of the inmates that I knew were sent to.
Right.
So I get there. When I get there, they come through, whatever, they take me they see the paperwork, they take me straight to the hole. They take me to the SMU. Go there, they put me behind the glass. There's like a glass wall that they put you behind if you're like a cutter or something like that. So I'm like, and when they put you there, all you can have is your legal material. You can't have nothing else, no food, no nothing.
Right.
So they put me behind the glass, and I'm sitting and I'm like, damn, why the hell am I back here? Like, I'm hungry, I want to eat, you know what I'm saying? Shit like
You're
that.
at commissary.
Yeah, so when the warden's coming through, he comes through and he looks at me and I'm like, sir, it was another guy I knew. He was the head guy over the tax squad at the time that I was in the tax squad. Now he's a warden of this prison. So he comes in, his name was Rick Jacobs. He comes in, he's like, Rodriguez, what the fuck? And I'm like, sir, what do you want me to say, bro? I can't tell you why they keep sending me to these places. This is where I'm at. And I was like, I don't like being behind this glass. I'm hungry. I want to eat when I want to eat. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't go to the store. I can't buy no commissary. I can't do nothing back here. He was like, all right, I'll put you in a regular lockdown cell so you could get your store. It's a certain limit, though. They give you, it's a different kind of store, but it's not like
it's a different list.
Yeah, it's a different list.
The limit is limited.
Exactly. So you know that. So okay, boom. He puts me out there. I'm chilling there for like a month. He comes back. He's like, yo, I'm gonna try to get you transferred. He was like, there's a prison that is for ex-correction officers, ex-police officers, shit like that. He was like, I'm gonna try to get you there. I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, but yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to be in the hole no more.
All right.
And he was like, what you mean? I was like, just put me on the compound.
He's afraid that's going to go bad.
Exactly. He was like, I can't do
And
that,
it looks
man.
bad on him.
There, he was like, if something happens to you, blah. I said, man, listen. At the end of the day, I don't care. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I was like, I'm telling you now, I don't want to do 14 years in a fucking room, 23-1. I don't want to do that.
You already got 6 months knocked out.
Yeah, but still, it just didn't feel.
was joking.
It didn't
I was
feel
like,
good to me. Like sitting in this room,
Yeah.
6 steps that way, 6 steps that way. I'm like, I need some type of laughter, some type of something. So he ends up leaving. They sent another warden there named Warden Tatum. Tatum comes in. He's like, yo, Mr. Jacobs told me everything about you, blah, blah, blah. He was like, what do you want to do? I said, sir, please. Obviously, you can't transfer me because I've been here like 3 months now. Can you put me on the compound? He was like, you sure? I was like, yes, put me on the compound. I don't give a fuck. He was like, this is what I'm going to do. They had a dorm in a building there. It was J Building in Hayes. There was a dorm called the Faith-Based Dorm.
Okay.
Okay, so I think they got that in the feds, right?
Yeah.
Faith and character-based dorm where you go there and they model
They have
inmates.
different ones. They have like they also have like the military dorm. They've got like just for different types of programs.
Okay, so this was called the Faith and character-based dorm. Model inmates to them, you know. So he was like, I'm gonna put you in there. You get in there, you stay out the way. You know, try to keep your head low. I'm like, all right, bet. I go, they put me in there. Finally, I'm in population. I got a fucking, you know, everything. It's open bay though. There's no cell house. It's an open bay. It's just a bunch of bunks downstairs, a bunch of bunks upstairs. Got a day room. So I'm chilling. I end up meeting this kid, this Spanish kid, because they end up giving me a job at the library. So I'm going to the library. I'm getting out. I'm doing my thing. I meet this guy, this Spanish dude. He was from the Bronx. So I'm like, oh shit, we started talking. I'm from New York, you from New York, blah, blah, blah. You know, I lived in the Bronx for a couple of years, you know, too. So we talking, we kicking it. I don't know what he is. I don't know who he is. But as we're getting close to each other, you know, as, you know, trying to, you know, form that friendship, I'm like, yo, listen, you know, you got my back, I got your back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to like get somebody to like, okay, now I got somebody that's going to hold me down. Nobody knows I'm a CO though, except for the warden. Like the officers, nobody knows nothing but the warden. How did they do this? I don't fucking know. Don't ask me. But that's exactly how it was. The warden was the only person that knew. So I'm kicking it with him. Come to find out, he was one of the head of the Latin Kings. Okay. All right. So as we kicking it and we rocking together, and I'm showing him like, bro, I don't give a shit. Like if it's a problem that you have, we gonna handle the problem together. You know what I'm saying? I'm like back to military mode, back to street mode. Like I got to start getting back on that proving myself shit. So that's what I was doing with him. He ended up liking me so much. He was like, yo, I want you to be my number 2. So I'm like, word? He was like, yeah. He was like, all that jumping in shit, mind you, it's just me and him. And then, you know, obviously like all the Latins on the pound, they respected him. They knew who he was, whatever. So he was like, that's what I wanted to be. I'm like, all right. So he gave me the crown. He made me number 2. So I'm like, bet. We rocking. Nobody's finding out nothing. Nobody knows nothing. I'm chilling.
Does he have any idea?
None.
Okay.
None. Because I definitely didn't go in there talking about, oh, well, look, me and you got cool. So let me tell. Hell no. I'm not doing that.
Right.
And how guys would recognize me. It was one guy coming to the library, right? Now this dude, I remember him more than he remembered me.
Right.
But when I seen him, I was like, oh shit. So I'm sitting behind the big desk, like it was like a high type desk shit. Where you come up, you sign your name, then I hand you whatever. So I'm sitting there and I see him and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, let's see if he recognizes me. He comes in, he locks eyes with me. He starts walking towards the bench. He's like, yo. He was like, damn, you look familiar. I look at him like, for real? I was like, where you think I look familiar from? He was like, wasn't me and you locked up at Georgia State Prison?
Must have been it.
I said, you know what? That had to be it. He was like, yeah, I was in this building and you was over here. You was the guy, the Mexican guy in the last cell down at the bottom, da-da-da. I was like, yeah, man, that was me. And that's how I ran with that shit. Every single time somebody recognized me, they didn't recognize me as being the correctional officer.
Right.
They just see my face. They knew me from somewhere. And how many people are going to think that they got a correctional officer in the prison with them?
Right.
They're not going to think that. So automatically, they automatically jump to, damn, you was with me at this prison. And, you know, a lot of them were from Georgia State Prison. So I worked there. I knew the whole unit. I knew the whole prison. I knew officers. So I could tell you everything you're telling me. And it just vibed. It just worked. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I got by. So anyways, I become who I become with this dude as a king. And then he goes to transfer and he's like, yo, I'm gonna leave you over everything. Like you're the head now. Like you the man.
Right.
So I'm like, oh shit, cool. Now mind you, like I said, I come from the street, so I know how to conduct myself.
Right.
I was a wild kid. You know what I'm saying? So I know how to be a street kid. I wasn't trying to be, but at this point in time, you put me in prison, I'm gonna go to whatever the fuck means I need to make it. So then,
how long had you been locked up at this point?
It was probably, I want to say, when he left, it was about August or September 2010 still. Because mind you, when I went to Macon in February, I went to Jackson in February, March I went to Macon. I was at Macon for 2 weeks.
Right.
And then they sent me to Hayes in the end of March. So at the end of March in 2010, I'm at Hayes. I meet him like a month later, or like probably like a month and a half later, because I was in the hole for like a month before they actually let me out. When I got out, that's when I met him. We started working at the library. So I knew him a couple months.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And when you with the same person every single day, rocking every single day, a couple of months feel like forever. So he ended up making me who he made me, and I'm like, cool. And then he leaves. A lot of fights, a lot of stabbings is going on between, other gangs and all that and that. We had a big ass fucking standoff on the yard one time. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do things different as a leader. I'm going to try to do things different. So I approached the other head dudes and I was like, yo, is there any way we all can meet together and have a conversation? A real conversation about what the fuck are we really doing? You know what I'm saying? So they were like, all right, bet. We talked to the STG, which is the head of the gang shit for the officers. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they call it the STG. Don't fucking make sense to me. But that's what they called them in Georgia, the STG. So he comes up and he's like, yo, I'll get all you guys together. We go to the gym and we all, you guys have a conversation about what's going on. How can we stop it? How can we prevent some of this shit? So we all end up meeting and we're like, yo, listen, this is what we're going to do. From now on, you police your own people. If one of my dudes do something stupid, we'll take care of it. How we take care of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If one of your dudes do something stupid, you take care of it, whatever. If you don't, or if we don't, then it is what it is. You handle it how you handle it. So we started rocking like that. So now we all got a mutual respect for each other. At least the heads did. I can't say everybody did. So it's probably about around Christmas time. I'm on the yard. I go to the yard, the big yard, and I'm walking around the yard. And as I'm walking around the yard, at Hayes, the CERT team used to stand next to administration with the camera and they record you. So as I'm walking around the yard, I'm not stopping in nobody's cut or stopping in nobody's circle. I'm just, yo, what's up? What's up? Guys pulling up. We shaking hands. How you doing, bro? Everything good?
Right.
They're recording this. I'm not knowing they are. Like, I'm not knowing they focusing on me walking around the yard. So, like 2 weeks later, I'm coming out of work. The warden stops me. He's like, yo, Rodriguez, come here. I go up there. I'm like, yes, sir. He said, come here. I want to show you something. So I go into the administration area. He pulls out a TV with the camera, with the tape and everything. He puts the tape in. He's like, what's this? And I'm looking at it, and it's me walking around the yard. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm on the yard. He was like, why is it that you can walk around this yard and stop and speak to all these guys when all of these guys are heads of different crews, gangs?
Yeah.
I was like, it's just a mutual respect thing. That's all. Like, we trying to keep it peaceful. And he went into the spiel.
Does he know you're running the gang?
Yeah, now he does.
Okay.
That's what he's getting to.
Yeah.
Now he knows. So he's like, you used to be a correctional officer. What the fuck are you doing?
Surviving.
That's exactly what I told him. I said, you know what's funny? You send me to one prison and the warden comes to me and say, how the fuck did you get here? You shouldn't be here. He says he's going to ship me. He ships me to your prison. And you and the other warden that were here said the same thing to me. How the fuck did you get here? So guess what? I'm going to live here and I'm going to live how I want to live here. And that's the only thing I know. I'm going to survive. And he was like, man, I can't have that. I can't have you here like that. You got too much power.
How?
By walk, exactly.
How did what about the other heads of the other gangs?
Exactly.
Are you shipping them?
No, they didn't. But I'm like, by going around the yard saying what's up to people, that's showing you I got too much power? That's crazy. He was like, I'm going to ship you. So I'm like, okay, you couldn't ship me back then when I first got there. Now all of a sudden you can ship me. So I'm like, whatever. I ain't believe him. I really didn't. I go back to my dorm. 2 days later, I'm in class. There's like, in the dorm that I'm in, the central station's in the middle. They got a dorm here, dorm here, dorm here, dorm here. And behind the central station is the barbershop and the classroom. I'm in the classroom. And I hear, CERT team coming up the walk. People start hollering, 12, CERT team coming up the walk, CERT team coming up the walk. Okay, I'm sitting there. I look up. The teacher looks at me. He's like, Rodriguez, you all right? I was like, they're coming for me. He was like, why you say that? I was like, because I know they're coming for me. So they come in, they go to my dorm, then they come back around. As soon as they walk to the door, they open the door. It was like, Rodriguez, come on. He looked. He was like, how the hell did you know? I said, man, I just know these people. So they end up shipping me. They sent me to the actual prison that I figured they would have sent me to in the beginning, the ex-police, the ex-graduate. Right. They sent me to that prison. It's called Long State Prison. 4 dorms, that's it. The whole prison is 4 dorms. It's like 60-something people in each dorm.
Right.
That's the whole prison. So I'm there. I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I get with this dude from, he was an ex Delta Force. Badass dude, man. Badass white guy. They put us from 13 years or under, you could go outside the gate and start working. So I'm there for a little bit before I hit my 13-year mark. Mm-hmm. When I hit my 13-year mark, I'm playing, I'm the model inmate. I'm not getting in no trouble. I'm with a bunch of ex-police and all that shit. What the fuck can we get into? They not with the bullshit. So I go and I'm like, yo, go to the warden. It was a female. And I'm like, can I start going out the gate? And she was like, let me look into it. I got to get your security dropped from close to medium because you got to be medium or minimum security to go out the gate to work. You can't be close security. So she's like, I got to get your security dropped and all that. I'll look into it. She ends up doing it. I end up going out the gate. No problem. I start working like at parks, cleaning up parks and cutting grass and shit. So the people would ride by and throw cigarettes at us.
Right.
I didn't smoke, but a lot of the guys did in the prison. Cigarettes were illegal at this time. So they were like, shit, they getting the cigarettes, they're smoking on detail. I'm looking at it like, how the hell can we make money off of this shit?
Right.
So I look at my boy and I'm like, yo, we got to figure out a way to get this shit in. Because we could sell this shit. We ain't even got to go to the store. That shit'll pay for all our shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We were trying to figure out ways. At first, it was like under the boot thing, cut your boot open, put it in there, smash it down and shit like that. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So eventually I was like, we got to figure out another way, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, man, the only other way I could think of is to booth it.
Right.
And I'm like, I said, man, I'm not doing that one.
What has this come to?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not.
How did I get here?
I'm not doing this one.
How bad did things just go?
Like what? I was like, I'm not doing that one. He was like, well, let's see if one of these other guys will do it. So at first, we had a guy who would bring in a pack of cigarettes. Like we would take the sandwich wrap.
Yeah.
And put the whole pack in there and roll it up as tight as we could roll it. Probably got it down to like that big. And he would go handle his business. And everything was good. But it was like more and more people wanted more and more cigarettes. So now we're like, okay, this one pack every day ain't good enough. We need like 4 or 5 packs. So my boy looked at me. He was like, man, I'll try it. He was like, let me get it. I'll go try it and see what up. So I'm like, all right. Because mind you, we making money for me and him. Like we get the pack in, we splitting it down the middle. And we eating good, like a box full. We don't got to go to the store, so our money's just building up.
Yeah, I think that split's got to change if I got to put it in my prison purse.
And you know what's crazy? The split didn't change.
We're going 60-40.
And I would have agreed to it because you're going through what you're going through. I'm not. But he was just like, let me try it. He tried it, and then he was like, oh, it's not that bad. And I'm like, swear to God, I swear to you, he said it's not that bad. I was
I'm not
like,
sure we can be friends anymore.
I was like, all right, fuck it. If it's not that bad, let's run with it. So it went from him and the other guy bringing it in to then he was like, man, fuck him. We could just cross him out. I'll just put 2. And I was like, for real? He was like, yeah. So he put 2. Eventually it got to where I think he started getting greedy because the little deal we had just started like dwindling away.
Right.
To where he started, like you said, he started feeling like I'm the one putting this shit up my ass and bringing it in. So yeah, I'm doing it myself.
I think Mayor Shelley's just realized what's happening. What Buffett he's putting in his prison purse.
So he started bringing it in. He got up to like 5 packs.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I'm talking about whole cigarettes, not like broken down tobacco. Sometimes it'll be broken down tobacco. But it got to like where we had like whole packs.
Because like the whole cardboard.
Yeah, not the whole cardboard.
Then it became a half a carton.
Now the most it got to was 5 packs.
Okay.
But because when you go in there and you sell a whole cigarette, that's $5.
5 packs in one trip?
Yeah, one trip. Oh, that ain't shit. When I got to another prison, they were shoving like 15, 20 bombs. Yeah, 15, 20 bombs. Little look like golf balls. They was doing 20 at a time. Yeah. So me and him ended up not, he realized like this is a cash cow and I want it all for me. Like you ain't doing nothing. Which I can't be mad at you. You're right. You doing all of that. I'm sorry. I'm just I'm cool. I'm not doing that. So anyways, I'm doing we were doing all of that, whatever. I was from that town. Like that I was in Hinesville, Georgia when I was in the military. So that's where they sent me. That's where this prison is at. It was in Little Wissy, which is right between Jessup and Hinesville. But we would go to Hinesville and clean the parks up. So I know people in Hinesville. So I'm calling a couple of my friends. I'm like, yo, swing by. I'm going to be at this park, throw some cigarettes out or, whatever. My boy threw out like a half an ounce of coke.
Jeez.
And when he throws it out there, I'm like, damn. So I started, having this other person bring my stuff in for me. So when he throws it out there, I'll wrap it up. I give it to my boy. I'm like, yo, bring it in. I got you. I was like, we're going to make some money off of this joint. They were bringing in cigarettes. I started having people drop off,
drugs.
Weed and drugs and stuff. So I do that, bring it in. He comes up, I put it on the mirror, start, rationing it out to like 20s. Sold the whole shit that night. But as I'm sitting there, bagging it up, they called 12, so I slid my mirror under my box. And I guess some of the shit got on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I got rid of it, thank God. Because the very next morning, they had a shakedown. They come up in there with the dogs and everything. So naturally, the dog stops in front of my box and sits down. I'm like, oh, shit. I had a half a summer sausage open in my bowl.
So they thought that's what it was?
So that's what I told her.
Oh.
The warden, she came, she snatched me out. She had a whole bunch of little statements from the guys in there saying that I was bringing in drugs and I was bringing in cigarettes.
Not true.
That is fucking true.
The inmates would never tell on each other.
No.
It's not true.
No.
I don't believe that.
See, a lot of people don't. But
what about the code?
There ain't no code on the street. You think there's a code in there? I know dudes who are telling on you for a sandwich.
I hear you.
Exactly.
I'm hungry.
So exactly. I don't get no store call.
P-Dog got to go.
Hell yeah, you got to get up out of here. So she had a couple of written statements saying that I was bringing in cigarettes and stuff like that. And she was like, you want to talk about this? I was like, nah. I was like, I don't got none of that. I don't know what they're talking about.
Did you tell her, like, look, I'm a former CO?
No. You know what? I never tried to use that. I never, because, I felt like if I tried to use that, they would tell each other.
Yeah.
And then
obviously
it'll get out.
Yeah.
So anytime I went somewhere, I never used that. If you knew me, then you knew me. I never went in saying, oh, hey, excuse me. Mm-hmm. I used to be a...
Yeah.
Hell no. I don't want you to know nothing. I want you to look at me. If you don't know me, then you treat me the same way you treat everybody else, so nobody else will find out. So she ends up shipping me to another prison, back to a level 5. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Augusta State Medical Prison is where she sent me. I'm staying in a building called the Y Building. As soon as you walk through you got the administrative side with the classes and everything, then you got the gate, and then it's the prison side, like where the dorms are at. As soon as you walk through the gate, it's the dorm right here. You walk in, you go to the left, it's right there. It's Y building. So I'm in Y building. I'm chilling. I'm trying to be under the radar. Like, I don't want nobody to know who I was, at Hayes, like, being in the gang and all that shit. I didn't want nobody to know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is a new place. Latinos, we already stick together as soon as you walk in. You walk in, you show your paperwork's legit, ain't nobody fucking with you.
Right.
They're going to accept you in. My charges say DUI, homicide by vehicle. I don't got no crazy charges.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody ever pressed me.
Yeah.
I show them my paperwork. Look, there's my charges. I'm here for that. You know what I mean? Everything cool. So I'm chilling. I'm just hanging with the regular people, minding my business. Next thing you know, I didn't know, but one of a GD was there from Hayes. But he wasn't a head. He was just a GD from Hayes, and he ended up getting transferred there. So I'm sitting there in the dorm, and I don't even recognize him. I'm just going about my everyday business. You know what I'm saying? I worked on the hospital floor then. So I'm going about my everyday business, minding my business. It was a situation that was about to pop off between the Hispanics and the GDs. So he comes with his head dude over to my dorm. And when they walk in, he comes up to me. He says my name. He's like, yo, Mighty, can I talk to you? And I looked at him. I was like, what? He was like, I need to talk to you, Mighty. I was like, who are you? He was like, oh, I'm such and such, da-da-da-da-da. He was like, we were at Hayes together. I was like, damn. Because I was there for like 6 months. Nobody knew nothing about my gang affiliation, nothing. I was just a regular Latin dude with the Latinos.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Minding my business. If we got to ride, we're going to ride. That's what it is. But he ended up telling people, oh, yeah, that's such and such. He's such and such, blah, blah, blah. The head over this, the head over there. I was like, damn. So then that's when the gang shit started coming back into play again.
Why don't you just say I'm not interested?
Well, honestly, I was like, you know what? I'm for my people, first and foremost. So when you come to me with a situation and we could try to prevent somebody from getting killed or any bloodshed, then I'm going to stand up for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't about that, killing each other and going to war and shit. I didn't want that to happen. I wanted my time to be as smooth as I could possibly make it. So when they came to me about the situation, I was like, all right, I'll talk to some peoples. We'll all get together and we'll see if we could, fan this out and squash it.
Right.
And it ended up happening like that. And once that situation happened, it was over. There was nothing else I could do. Every time something came up, yo, go get Mighty. Go get this. Go tell him to come over here. Da-da-da. So then what I did was I started hanging real tight with the Bloods. Because, the East Coast Bloods, they banged the 5-point star. And then the Latin Kings got the 5 points of the crown. So it's a mutual respect of the 5.
That's good.
If it makes sense.
Yeah.
In gang world.
Yeah, okay.
It's a mutual respect of the 5.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You 5-star, 5
So
crown.
they're kind of connected. There's affiliate.
Yeah, there's like there's
an understanding.
Yeah. So there's like the 5 and then the 6. The 6 is the GDs and all of that, the Folk Nation, all of that. And then the 5s is the Kings and the Bloods and some Vice Lords. So I ended up getting real tight with one of the head Bloods over Sex, Money, Murder. It's an East Coast set. And me and him got real tight, real close. So then me and him started rocking real tight. And then me and him came up with a plan to like, you know what? We should try to unite all of our people to make one big powerhouse. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we ended up doing, like uniting everything under the 5 as one. Like not as one, but like a mutual respect. We all hang together, we kick it together, we eat together, we go to chow together, stuff like that. But they knew how big he was. He was in there, he had a few stabbings, a few things going on. So anytime something happened, they would take him and lock him down and keep him hidden for months at a time. So while he was locked down, I'll be out there doing my thing, sending him food, sending him phones, all kind of shit. So his people showed me the respect that they would show him because they knew how tight me and him was. You know what I'm saying? So it was still rocking right. Every time they had a problem, they would come to me. If it had to do with anything with the Bloods or the Kings or anything, they would come to me. And it ended up turning bad because every time something happened, they would come and lock me down. Because they're like, oh, you the head of this shit and you're not controlling it, so now we're going to put your ass in the hole. And it would be like 3 months here, 6 months here, 9 months there. Like, God damn, bro. So that was going on. with that. But I was cool though. I was comfortable. I was living comfortable. No, to this day, nobody still. These interviews are gonna let them know who I really was.
Okay.
Because they don't know to this day. And I still talk to them. Some of them. I still talk to some of them to this day. And they're going to be like, yo, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. So yeah, how I made it through there, I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you. But I made it. And again, they was always like, oh, we used to be locked up here. That's how I made it. And then when I got in gangland, they definitely ain't going to think I was an ex-CO. They like, psh, that's this dude from over there. You know what I mean? So as you know, as time's going on, it's money being made. At the time, I'm buying cigarettes and selling them because I ain't caught an officer yet. I stood in my dorm. I did the least amount of shit I had to do to be out and about with people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I go to work. I come straight back to the dorm. You know, I stay in the dorm. I didn't go to chow. I didn't go to the chow hall because I would buy cigarettes, sell them, and that'll fill up my box because I didn't smoke. You know, I'd buy phones so I could have a phone. So then one day, the guys come up to me. They're like, yo, come to chow with us. Because once a month in Georgia, they give you baked chicken, the whole quarter leg. So they're like, yo, come to chow with us, get your chicken.
It's chicken day.
Yeah, it's chicken day. Everybody's happy. Let's go get this chicken. So I'm like, man, y'all know I don't go out there. They're like, come on, just come get the chicken. So when we come back, we can make a meal and put all the chicken with it. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go. So as I'm walking out the dorm, the officer there, she looks at me and she was like, oh, hell nah. And I looked. She never heard her. She never heard me speak. She never talked to me. I never had no interactions with none of them. It was just straight work, work, cell, work, room, boom.
Would she recognize you?
Nah, she was just like, oh, hell no. Then I looked. I was like, what's up? At this time, I'm so comfortable. I'm not thinking they recognize me. She didn't recognize me, but she was like, what the hell are you doing out the room? I'm like, what you mean? I'm going to chow. And as I'm talking to her, you know, she's from Georgia. She was like, you ain't from Georgia, are you? I was like, nah, I'm from New York. She was like, oh. So I never caught a female until this time. But I know dudes who would catch the officers. They would bring them phones, cigarettes, all that. So finally, when I seen the interest she had, I'm like, oh, I might have something right here. So when I go to chow, I come back from chow, you know, I walk up to her and I start kicking it with her, just general conversation. And she's like, yeah, I never seen you come out, you know, we talking just bullshit. And I was like, yo, like, let me give you my number. She was like, what? I was like, let me give you my number. She was like, hell no, you gonna get me caught up, blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, just take my number. I don't want nothing from you. Just conversation. You know what I'm saying? When you go out there, download a app, you know, like the Text Now app or something, and just kick it with me. Or just, you know, text me, whatever.
So you're giving her the phone number to your contraband cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she showed interest.
Right.
And everybody knows, like, it was that easy in Georgia. It was that easy. You give a girl a little conversation, and then once I get you on the phone, I'm in your ear all day. As long as they don't come in, I'm in your ear. I'm in my bed. Like if I'm on Love Connection, I'm in your ear all day.
What she look like?
She was a black chick.
Okay.
She was a slim black chick, little skinny black chick.
Is all right looking?
She was pretty. She had a pretty face. She ain't had no real body going on, but
in prison,
it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, she's an 8. She's a 4 on the street.
She fine as hell.
But, yeah.
In prison, she probably was one of the baddest ones there. But yeah, so we started talking. She ended up texting me, and then we started talking. Then I would talk to her every single day, and that's all that. A lot of times, that's all they want. Is some people would be like, I don't understand how they get with inmates. I don't understand how they end up with inmates. We got 24 hours of nothing to do. So we're gonna talk to you more than any dude on the street. We're gonna show you all the attention that you're looking for, all of that. So that's what I was doing to her, giving her all the attention, and we talked for a little bit, and then finally, I was like, yo, bring me something to eat. She was like, what you mean?
Oh, so that's that little bit.
That's that little bit.
Just a little, just gonna reel her in. Before you know it, she's moving keys for you.
It wasn't never keys. It was packs of cigarettes, though.
Right.
But I reeled her in with the food.
It's still contraband.
Yeah, hell yeah. You can't bring me anything.
But I mean, I was gonna say she could still get in trouble.
Of course. So she was like, what do you want? I was like, whatever. Just grab me a burger. She goes and grab me some Burger King. She brings it in. When I'm in the dorm, I see her come in, so I go sit next to the TV. She clicks the door. I walk out. I go to the little, they had like a little box and they slide shit out of the central station. She slides it out. I open it. It's the Burger King. So I grab the shit, put it under my shirt, like try to flatten it down a little bit. Walk back in the dorm, go to my bunk because I had it sheeted off. Go to my bunk, eat the food. When she gets off, we get on the phone. She's like, was it good? I'm like, hell yeah, gassing it up. I'm like, damn. I was like, yo, you know what? As we talking, I'm like, yo, we can make a lot of money in here. She was like, what you mean?
Oh, you're going to get me fucked up. You're going to get me locked up in there with you.
So what she don't know is that I was a CO.
Right.
So I know how to get the shit in.
Right.
I never did it, but I know how it works when you come through that front gate. You know what I'm saying? I know what comes through the metal detector and what comes through the x-ray machine. I know what doesn't.
Go get a big gulp, stick the shit in the big gulp, and then put the big gulp on the side and walk through and then lean over and grab with your car keys and your
exactly.
shit. They'll never check it.
And they didn't. At that time, they weren't.
Right.
So that's what I told her. I was like, yo, I'm gonna send you money to grab a can of cigarettes. This was the first thing I did. I said, I'm gonna send you money to grab a can of cigarettes. The can at Walmart or whatever is $30-something for loose tobacco.
Right.
The bugler tobacco. Out of one can, you get 9 packs.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 9 packs, they go $200
he
a
breaks
pack.
it down. You break it down, and then $20 for this much.
But see how I did it was I was like, yo, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna have it vacuum sealed. All of that. So all you got to do is put it on your stomach, put your vest on, put your shirt on, and just walk in. They're not gonna smell it because it's gonna be vacuum sealed. So just walk right in. That was the first thing she brought me was a can of cigarettes. So I'm like, when she did that, she was like, oh, that was a rush. Really?
Really? You're done.
Now it's like, okay, if that was a rush, I was like, shit, bring 2. You think you could bring 2? And it went from like 2 to the most she strapped was 3 cans of cigarettes. And she was doing that every day she came in. And they did 3 on, 2 off, 2 on, 3 off, shit like that. That was their shift in Georgia. So every time she came in, she was bringing 3 cans. So then finally, the big gulp. I'm like, yo, I know when you come through that front gate, you don't put that cup through that damn metal detector or the x-ray machine. She was like, nah, they make us put it on the side of it. I was like, you know what you need to do? I was like, I'm going to send you the money. Go buy me 4 phones. At the time, it was the 3G, the little touchscreen 3Gs. I'm like, yo, go get like 4 of them. I was like, wrap them up. You know what I'm saying? Electrical tape. I don't know why the fuck we thought electrical tape was like gonna stop it from being detected. Who the fuck knows who came up with that? But everybody brought their shit in electrical tape. So I was like, just wrap it up in electrical tape. I was like, put the phones in there because they were like this big. They weren't big phones at all. Like put two, whatever. Pour the ice in the big gulp. Put the top on it, and then bring it through. Put the cup on the side, walk through, grab the cup, boom, you in here. She did it. She got through with the phones. Hit the door, I come out, I'm like, what up? She was like, go to the ice room, get ice. So I'm like, all right, I open the ice chest, 4 phones. So then I started having her bring me 4 phones every day she came in. And I was selling, at that time, the phones were going for like $400 to $500 a pop. At that time. This was like 2000 and, I want to say, 14 or 15. I want to say 15. I think it was 15. She was bringing in 4 phones a pop, and I was selling for $400 or $500. But as time went on, the phones started going up to like 1,000 to 1,500, sometimes 2,000, depending on what's going on. But when I first started doing it, that's how much they were going for, $400 or $500 a pop. And I was flipping them like crazy.
2 months later, she can go shake down the guy's lockers that you sold them to.
So funny thing about
the fucking phones back.
She was on the tax squad. So this girl, I got her name tattooed on me.
Right.
I'm not bullshitting. I got her name literally tattooed right on my side right here. So
I can see you getting strip searched. That's funny. We have an
But the
officer,
funny thing
Teresa.
about it-
Oh, that's crazy.
But the funny thing about it, they never figured it out.
Right.
Because it looks like it could say something else. You know what I'm saying? How I had them do it, it don't look like it says her name. It looks like it says something else. Because the situation came up about that. where they thought somebody told them, one of the inmates,
Right.
one of the no snitching, stick to the code guys, one of the super thugs.
They get jealous.
Told them that I got her name tatted on me and blah, blah, blah. So they ended up searching me and it was right there, but they didn't even tell. I'm like, damn, I'm done. They just looking, I don't see it. I was like, cool. So that happened. But anyway, she started bringing phones in for me. We was making so much money. She literally went and bought a drop top Mustang.
You're so good to me.
Yeah. And then everybody, like after a while, everybody found out about it. Like all the other COs, they'll come up. Oh, I heard you bought, what's her name, a car? Da, 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 da.
Oh, that's not good. That's not a good situation.
So
that lasts about a week.
Exactly. That shit didn't last long at all. So then I'm sitting there one day and I see the CERT team come in. They're coming up the walk. I'm looking, I'm like, damn.
That's crazy. What are they doing here?
Yeah, like, damn.
Somebody's in trouble.
I wonder who they're here for.
It's probably Jimmy. He's been moving
right?
some shit.
That motherfucker been up there doing good. They come in, and I really think they gave me a chance to hide my shit.
Right.
Because they knew where the hell I slept at. I slept on the bottom floor in the back in the corner. But when they came in, they shot straight up the stairs. So I'm like, oh shit, 13, boom. You know, my shit was put up anyway. I don't pull it out till like after 5 o'clock. I don't pull my phone out till after 5. And it was like 3:30. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They go upstairs, then they come down the stairs, and I'm like, you know, walking to the front, like nothing's going on. They look, Rodriguez. I was like, yeah. They were like, come with us. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? So they come down. I'm like, what's going on? They were like, I don't know. The warden told us to come get you. I'm like, damn, I wonder what I did now. So we go into the warden's office. He's sitting there, and he's like, literally just like this. And he's like, I got a few questions to ask you. I'm like, all right. He's like, what you got going on with officer such and such? I'm like, I don't even know who that is. He was like, so you mean to tell me you don't know this? Da, da, da. I was like, nah. He said, so you mean to tell me that she's not bringing in phones for you and putting them in the ice chest and you're coming out and picking them up and she's not bringing in the tobacco? Oh my God, that motherfucker told me everything I was doing as if he was sitting next to me doing it with me. Literally. And I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, if you feel like if you feel like that's what I'm doing, then put me in the hole. I've been in the hole so many times for the gang stuff.
All right.
I was like, if you feel like that's what I'm doing, put me in the box. I'm already in prison. What are you gonna do to me?
All right.
I know what you're trying to do. You want to catch her so you can hang her up. But I wasn't gonna let you do that. You want to put me in the hole? Put me in the hole.
Right.
I've been there plenty of times. I'm still gonna function. I'm still gonna get my phone. My boys are gonna bring me my phone. They're gonna bring me my food. Like, what do you want to do? He was like, no, I'm not gonna lock you down. I'm gonna catch you though. I'm gonna put you back in the dorm. I'm gonna catch you. So I get back to the dorm. I'm like, damn, she was supposed to come in that night. I'm like, shit, what the fuck going on? So when I finally pulled my phone out, I had like mad calls, missed calls from her. So I called her back. I'm like, what's going on? She was like, yo, they called me this morning, told me I needed to come in. They needed to talk to me. She was like, as soon as I got in there, the warden said, let me get your phone. And I swear to you, this is the truest story. Man, this shit is crazy. The warden said, let me see your phone. She gave him the phone. He went through her phone. She had my name in her phone. It had a New York number because that's what my phone, you know, Verizon, you could call and get the prepaid and you could get your number from anywhere. You don't have to have a Georgia number or nothing. I always got New York numbers.
But why wouldn't she have a separate phone to contact you? Why put your name in her real iPhone or whatever it was?
Who the fuck knows?
You have to know this is coming at some point. There's too many people that are involved, or there's too many eyes.
Exactly. And we're in a dorm where 60-something people standing there all day watching anytime somebody goes in and out that door. She got my name in her phone. So my phone's put up. So the warden's like, you know, I heard you messing with Rodriguez, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? Da, da, da. And it's funny that you got a guy in your phone and his name is, you know, Rob, and it's got a New York number. Like, he was like, don't you think that's kind of funny? Whatever. And he was like, you know what? Do me a favor. Call him. And let's see what he says. But my phone's put up.
All right.
So you call, it goes straight to voicemail. It's off. So that was the good thing. So she's telling me like all of this, and I'm like, oh shit. She's like, so he told me he knows what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. They're gonna try to put me in jail. I said, yo, did he catch you with anything? Did you have anything on you? She was like, nah. I said, well, he didn't catch me with nothing either. So what is he gonna put you in jail for? He's going by what people are telling him. I was like, right here, it stops. We're not doing nothing else. You good. He didn't catch you with nothing. He didn't catch me with nothing. He didn't connect anything. Just leave it alone.
And the worst that they could do at this point is transfer her and ship you.
Exactly.
Like that's
what I told her. I was like, just leave it alone. Don't worry. I was like, yo, listen, I promise you, they ain't gonna get shit out of me. I'm good. I'm already locked up. What can you do to me? So she was just like, all right, bet. I said, you know what I want you to do? I was like, we made some good money, right? She was like, yeah. I said, yo, come back in here tomorrow and quit. Quit and walk away. She was young. She was in her 20s. I'm like, quit, walk away. You can find something else. I know you can. You got enough money right now that you could sit there for a little bit if you want to.
So I'm personally offended that the warden would accuse me of this when I've done everything I can do I put my heart and soul into this job.
She was on a tactical squad.
I'm on a tactical squad. I don't deserve this.
Exactly. Come in there and do that.
Completely offended. And if she leaves, she gets kind of like a good recommendation. Go do something else. And
because you didn't get fired.
Apply for the police office.
You didn't get fired. You didn't get nothing. She ends up coming in and quitting. We still talking for a little while. She finds a job. I think she found a job making cupboards or something. Who's making more money than making cupboards than she was as a correctional officer. I said, see, you good now. We ended up stopped talking,
Well, no, she was
years. Yeah, she was just my,
I understand.
Yeah,
You bastard.
I didn't. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I did look for it, except for one. I didn't look for, like, I was gonna say I didn't look for them, but once I found out that it was easy for me to snatch them like that,
right?
Then every chance I got, I was searching for another one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I made some good money. But then it got to a point where, like, it was like when that situation happened, I was like, okay, that's too close. So at Augusta State Medical Prison, they had outside detail. Few places would go do this, do that. So I'm like, yo, let me get one of these people to start and bringing it in. So I started doing that again, paying somebody to wrap it all up, drop it off at a certain site. They'll come, grab it, put it up there and bring it on in for me. So I was doing that. I lasted at that prison for a while, for probably 3 years at Augusta. And then out of nowhere, it was like my last 3 years in prison. I was going on my last 3 years. Out of the 14, I was at 9. And they sent me to a prison called Dooley State Prison. It was somewhere in Georgia. I don't know.
A lot of prisons in Georgia.
Yo, they got 50-something prison in Georgia.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So they sent me to Dooley State. That was the first minimum medium I hit besides the police one. So they sent me there to Dooley, and I was like, okay, here, I'm not saying shit. I don't want to know nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm just going to do my last little bit of time and go home. So I get there, and man, I erased the shit, but I wish I still had them. So when they're transferring me, they transfer me single man transfer because of my status, according to them. Because what I was told from them, from the CERT team, was that I was on the top 200 list of the governor's worst inmates in the state. Never been in trouble. I got 1 DR for a phone. The only reason they labeled me that was because of my gang status.
Right.
So that was it. It wasn't because I was violent or I was stabbing people and fighting. No, that wasn't it at all. Had I get in fights, of course. I was in prison for 12 years. You don't think I fought somebody? Hell yeah, I did. Never got in a stabbing match. Never stabbed nobody. Nobody ever stabbed me. Thank God. So they transfer me to Dooley. I'm on my way to Dooley. I don't know what's going on. When I get there, I had a migraine real bad. But, you can't transfer with your meds on you.
Right.
They have to hold your meds, and then they give them to medical, whatever. You go through that process. So what I had prescription Excedrin. I didn't know I had high blood pressure at the time. So I got this real bad headache. I'm palely white. I'm feeling like I'm going to throw up. We get to Dooley. When we get to Dooley, the whole CERT team comes out. All the wardens come out, like warden, deputy warden care and treatment, deputy warden security, all of them. Lieutenants, captain, a couple sergeants. They open the van and they get me. They bring me to medical. And I'm wondering, why the hell are all of these people here for me? And I don't know yet. So I get into the medical part, the nurse comes in and she just looks at me and then she's like, okay, she starts doing her thing. She connects me to all these little heart monitors. I guess I had an irregular heartbeat from what she was saying. So they end up sending me to an outside hospital. I get to the outside hospital, they, do their thing, everything's good. I get my migraine, my Excedrin finally, so the shit goes away. I come back to the prison and got to go back to medical to do the re-eval or something like that. So when I get up there, the nurse is standing there and she's staring at me and I'm looking at her. I'm like, you all right? Now, mind you, I'm in minimum medium now. I'm not in close. So that's different. You could be in the room with a nurse by yourself. I mean, there's another nurse in there most of the time, but sometimes they'll step out. It's minimum medium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't look at you as a threat no more. So she's in there and I'm like, you good? And she was like, yeah. She was like, I just can't believe you're the guy. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, yo, when you were being transferred here, I guess the warden got a call that you were coming here. And she was like, you should have seen them. They were going crazy. She was like, the warden called everybody. He locked the compound down. He called all the CERT team, everybody to come when you come to the back gate. And I'm like, why? She was like, according to them, she was like, you're some big time gang member and they're scared of you and blah, 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 blah. Because that was this first time I hit minimum medium. But I'm like, I don't even be doing shit. And she was like, to be honest with you, when they said it was a Mexican guy, I was expecting to see this little old guy come walking in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She was like, but then I seen you and I was like, oh shit, no wonder why. But I'm like, no, not no wonder why. I'm not like that. Like, I'm chill. So she was like, oh, okay, whatever. But I guess she took a liking to me. So now I got to go back to medical because I got high blood pressure. So every time I got to go, they check my blood pressure, all of that. So one time I go up there and she's just all laughing and joking, being all super friendly. And she was like, I know you got a phone. Let me get your number. And I looked at her. And at first I'm like, this has got to be a setup.
Right.
So I look at her, I'm like, man, I ain't got no damn phone, man. But this is going on for like 2 months. Every time she sees me, let me get your number. I know you got a phone. You want to act like you don't got a phone? I know you got a phone. Everybody in here got a phone. Talking like that. So one day, finally, I wrote my number on a piece of paper. I walk up there, get my blood pressure checked. And she's like, you still ain't going to give me your number? And her little nurse coat with the little pocket right there, I just slid my number in her shirt. I was like, use it if you want. If you don't, I don't care. Walked out. She ended up using it. We started talking.
What'd she look like?
She wasn't ugly. She was a little thick, but she wasn't ugly. She had a pretty little face. She was a little thicker than what I'm used to.
Right.
So, I was just like, But it was cool because now, you got me on my shit again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. We start talking. We're kicking it. Every day, she's telling me all her problems, everything going on with her baby daddy and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, trying to talk her through it, whatever. Finally, I'm like, yo, why don't you bring me like a pair of slippers or something? Because these joints that I got on fucking my feet up. She was like, for real? What kind of slippers you want? I said, man, bring me like a pair of Jordan slippers or something. Those are real comfortable. She was like, how you going to get them? I was like, yo, I know the orderly that works up there with you. Like, just bring them in and throw them somewhere and let them know where they're at. He'll pick them up and bring them to me. Don't worry, he's good people. She was like, all right. When she comes back to work, I don't know how the hell she got them in.
Mm-hmm.
She brought the slippers in, dropped them in the thing, and they brought them to me. So I'm like, all right. So then I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? I got to keep trying little bitty things. Because at first, I tried the cigarette thing with her. She was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
All right.
So I'm like, all right. I said, well, you know what? Bring me some polo socks. She went and bought.
You're going to be full. You're going to be decked out completely.
I had the polo socks, the polo drawers. I had the Timberland hat. I was bugging out. It was funny as hell. And I had pictures of all of this shit. Like on my old Facebook, I had pictures of all of this shit. But so she started bringing me the little stuff. She would put the underwear on and just walk in with them and then drop them off and he would bring them to me. And eventually she was just like, I was like, yo, we could make some money in here, man. Because, sometimes when we talk, she's like, well, I'm in a little jam and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'll send you some money, And then it got to a point where it was like, yo, we could start making money. And then I broke it down to her the same way. You bring me a can, 9 packs, $200 a pack, $1,800 for $30. I'll split it with you down the middle. We could do that shit every day. The more cans you bring, the more money we make. And it just went like that. Boom, boom, boom. And then it went from that to then it turned into, yo, bring me a phone. How's the things going up there with this and that? Da, da, da. And she just started bringing in phones. And she brought in the phone like twice. And then she was like, I'm not doing the phones no more. I'll just bring you the tobacco. That's it. I'm like, all right, fine. Let's stick to the tobacco then.
It's the same thing. It's the
Exactly.
same charge.
It's the same shit. But we never got caught. She
Right.
never got caught. She never got caught. She was bringing it in faithfully. Everything was cool. I actually met her when I got out.
Really?
Yeah. I got out. I was in Georgia for about a day. I went to Atlanta to my brother's house. And she actually met me at my brother's house. And I was like, I was like, yo, bro, you gotta help me on this one. He was like, what you mean? I was like, bro, you gotta be like, look, I don't like people in my house. I'm very private, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, all right, I got you. She pulls up to the house. I come outside. She's like, oh, what's going on? I was like, chilling. She was like, can we go inside? I said, man, my brother don't like people in his house. If he don't know you, he don't like you in his house. She was like, for real? I was like, yeah. And then he comes outside. He's like, yo, what's up, Rob? What's going on? I was like, yeah, I was going to invite her in. But he was like, nah, no offense. I don't like people in my house if I don't know you. Yeah, we ran with it. I was like, yes, I don't got to do nothing. Because I really wasn't trying to do nothing with her. She was cool as hell, but I was like, no, I can't do it. Cause she, but yeah, that's how that went. I was like, damn, that was straight though. I met her, I was cool with it. I was like, damn, okay.
Did you go to like a halfway house when you got out?
Nah, it was crazy because it was during COVID, right? It was December 2020 is when they let me out. They came to me Monday and was like, yo, you go home next Monday. Call your people, make sure all your shit is in order. You're paroling next Monday. I was like, what? Shot back to the dorm, called my mom. I was like, yo, is everything good? Everything straight? The address? She was like, yeah, everything's good. Come on. They called her, ran through it, because I did interstate compact. I went from Georgia back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was good. The next Monday, I walked out the gate. I was on parole. They told me I had to be on an ankle monitor when I first got home. So when I got to New York, I reported, and they were like, nah, you don't got to be on an ankle monitor because of COVID. He was like, when we pull up to your house, we're just going to pull up. You come outside and wave at us, and we're going to pull off. I was like, oh, okay, bet. And I actually got a good parole officer, which he knew, like, oh, you were a correctional officer, or you were in the military, blah, blah, blah. So they treated me different.
Right.
I didn't get in no bullshit and no trouble or nothing. Like, they didn't come bother me all the time. He would come wave at me and keep it pushing. The whole time I was on parole till October last year. And the whole time he was just waving at me. Never came in my house, never tried to search nothing. Yeah, I didn't have to deal with none of that shit, which was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the end of that one. I was like, thank God. But like I be trying to tell people I grew from that situation. Prison really humbled me. And it really made me realize a lot of shit about myself and about the system and about a whole bunch of shit, because I was doing all types of crazy shit in there. Not crazy like fighting and nothing like that, but just like the risk taking with the phones and the drugs and the cigarettes and all of that shit and then the gang life. Like, I never believed in gang life ever.
Right.
Like, when I was at home, my brothers and them, they got like a little neighborhood crew that they hang with. They call themselves a certain name. And I never wanted to be a part of that. I always wanted to be myself. But when I went to prison, man, I took anything I could get to make it. And it's hard. I don't understand it. Like I said, every time somebody recognized me, they always was like, yo, we were locked up at this prison. And you damn right. I'm going to run with that narrative. I don't give a damn. Yeah, we were locked up there. Hell yeah, I remember you. You were in cell 32. I was in cell 35. Yeah, I'm running with it. And they ate it up. People, like, I think a lot of people would think like officers would tell or something like that. But by the time I got back, like I said, I got my accident in 2006. By the time I went to prison in 2009, I never ran into an officer that I knew. It was wardens and deputy wardens and dudes over the whole like area type shit. So it was never an issue with officer talk. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know none of the officers. They were all brand new.
Right.
I never ran into another officer that I knew. It was always a warden or something like that. I was like, damn, I think that's how I really made it. Because officer-wise, come on. They're going to talk.
Yeah, they're going to talk anyway.
They're gonna
And they know somebody in the prison. They're friends with somebody, so they just
Exactly.
They're gonna
Oh,
say,
you know, he used to do
so-and-so.
this. Exactly. But fortunately for me, I never ran into an officer that recognized me. It was always like a warden or somebody of higher rank, you know, who I guess took it a little bit more serious than to be telling people. I don't know, but that's how it worked. That's how I made it through that shit.
Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. We are going to leave all of Royal Rodriguez's socials. So you just go to Royal Rodriguez in the description box. It's going to have all of his socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of them. You can click on there, go there, follow, subscribe. Also, if you are interested in being a guest, you can go to our website, which we'll also leave in the description box. You can go to the guest page, fill out the application, leave a short video, and we will get back to you. Also, if you'd like to support the show, we have a Patreon. It's $10 a month. Really does help us make this show. We'll leave the Patreon link in there too. Thank you very much.